We have made this video in both Hindi and English languages. You can watch them on our channel NoName IAS. Now we will cover all these topics of polity and governance. The Constitution Bill 2025. Union Home Minister Amit Shah introduced this bill in the Lok Sabha on the 20th of August 2025. But as soon as it was introduced, the opposition protested strongly. There was uproar in the House, and ultimately all three related bills were sent to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. JPC is a special committee which consists of members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which examines the bill in depth. Some people consider it a good step to stop corruption. So some are calling it a threat to democracy. Now, let us know more about this news. The bill provides for the removal of the Prime Minister, Chief Minister, or any minister of the central and state governments if they are in custody for 30 consecutive days for a serious criminal offence. The same will apply to the Union Territory of Delhi. The bill seeks to bring significant changes to Articles 75, 164 and 239 AA of the Indian Constitution. Article 75 deals with the Council of Ministers of the central government. Article 164 deals with the Council of Ministers of the state government, and Article 239 AA deals with the special provisions of Delhi. Apart from this, two other bills have also been introduced. One is the Government of Union Territories Bill 2025, which empowers the President to take similar action for the Puducherry Union. The second is the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill 2025, which allows the Lieutenant Governor in Jammu and Kashmir to remove the Chief Minister or ministers. All three bills have been sent to the JPC so that a detailed discussion can take place. Let us understand the main provisions one by one. Reasons for removal from office. If any Union Minister, Chief Minister or Minister of State commits any such offence, punishable with imprisonment for a term of 5 years or more, and with imprisonment for a period of 30 consecutive days, then he will be removed from the post. This applies to the Prime Minister as well, meaning one will have to leave the post if one remains in jail for a long time for a serious crime. Second, the removal process. For Union Ministers, the Prime Minister has to advise the President to remove the minister by the 31st day of detention. If advice is not given, the minister will automatically lose his post from the 31st day. For state ministers, the Chief Minister has to advise the Governor. If not given, the minister will automatically resign from his post. For Delhi ministers, the Chief Minister of Delhi will have to advise the President, otherwise they will have to resign automatically. Now for the Prime Minister or Chief Minister, he will have to resign by the 31st day of his detention. If not given, the post will automatically end from the next day. This process is clean and timely, so that there is no delay. An important point, there is no bar on reappointment after removal, meaning if the minister is released from jail, he can be brought back to the post. But this provision is controversial, as some say it could lead to political abuse. Arguments in favor of the bill. The first argument is constitutional morality and ethical governance. The Supreme Court had said in 2014, in the case of Manoj Narula vs. Union of India, that morality is very important in the Constitution. People with serious criminal charges should not be made ministers. This bill is a step in that direction, which expects high ethical standards from leaders. Second, increase public confidence. This bill is a strict step against corruption and criminalization of politics. When people see that leaders involved in serious crimes are being removed, their trust in the government and institutions will increase. Third, good governance. This bill eliminates the problem of prison rule. If a leader is in custody, so he cannot run the government effectively. It ensures accountability and plugs constitutional loopholes. Fourth, bridging the legal gap. Currently, under the Representation of People Act, public representatives are disqualified only on conviction. But what about during arrest and detention? This bill fills that gap so that leaders detained for serious crimes do not remain in office. Fifth, equality with other employees. A normal government employee is suspended after 48 hours of detention. So there should be a similar rule for ministers also, so that there are uniform standards for everyone. Sixth, other advantages. This bill applies equally to all parties, works towards decriminalizing politics and relies on court investigations to prevent fake arrests. Arguments against the bill. The first argument is political weaponry and threat to federalism. Some people say that central agencies like ED and CBI can be misused. Governments can be destabilized by arresting leaders on flimsy charges without facing electoral defeat. This could be a threat to states' rights and federalism. Second, damage to the presumption of innocence. This bill is against the principle of innocent until proven guilty. Removal on the basis of mere detention may be unjust, because arrest does not mean punishment. The Supreme Court had held in Lily Thomas vs. Union of India that disqualification commences only on conviction and not on arrest. Third, unequal treatment. There is inequality between MLAs and ministers under the Representation of the People Act. An MP or MLA is disqualified only on conviction. But in this bill, ministers can be removed only if they are in custody. This creates an awkward situation where a convicted MLA can continue as a minister, but the detained minister will be removed. Fourth, the revolving door problem. Allowing reappointment after release from custody could lead to a cycle of repeated resignations and appointments. This will increase political instability, and some people may resort to legal tactics. Fifth, executive discretion and politicization. The removal process may involve the advice of the Prime Minister or Chief Minister, or may involve automatic removal, making it political. For example, the Prime Minister can protect his friends or target the opposing Chief Minister. Sixth, lack of security measures. If the arrest is proved to be false or malicious, so there is no compensation for this. This could lead to wrongful arrests, especially under stringent laws like UAPA or PMLA. For example, in the last 5 years, the ED registered 5,000 cases, but only 10% resulted in convictions. This increases the risk of misuse. The existing legal framework and court decisions. First, the Representation of the People Act, 1951. Under its Section 8, Clause 3, if any MLA is sentenced to 2 years or more imprisonment, he becomes ineligible to contest elections or hold office. That is, disqualification is applicable only if there is a conviction, not on arrest. Second, the Lily Thomas 2013 decision. The Supreme Court struck down Section 8, Clause 4 of the RPA, which allowed convicted MPs or MLAs to escape disqualification if they filed an appeal. This decision made it clear that disqualification would apply immediately upon conviction, whether an appeal is filed or not. Third, Manoj Narula vs. Union of India 2014. The Supreme Court said that legally there is no bar on making people with criminal background as ministers. But the Prime Minister should not make ministers those involved in serious crimes. It was a matter of morality, not a legal obligation. Fourth, the PIL of Public Interest Foundation 2018. The court said that courts cannot go beyond the law and add new disqualification conditions, but advised Parliament to enact a law so that political parties cancel the membership of serious criminals and do not give them election tickets. Fifth, Election Commission Recommendation 2016. The Commission suggested that the RPA be amended to prevent those people from contesting elections, against whom the court has framed charges for a crime punishable with at least 5 years imprisonment. This goes beyond arrest, because a judicial investigation has already been done in this matter. The way forward. First, interim suspension. Instead of removing ministers outright, their ministerial positions may be temporarily suspended during the trial against them. This will ensure governance and accountability. Second, strengthening the role of political parties. The parties will have to bring discipline themselves. They should avoid giving tickets to candidates with criminal records and should choose only honest people, not just winners. Third, the recommendation of the Law Commission. The Commission said that disqualification should be imposed when charges are framed for offences punishable with up to 5 years imprisonment. This can prevent fake or political arrests because a court conducts a preliminary inquiry before framing charges. Fourth, making bail rules. Bail should be made easier, except for serious violent crimes. This will make the new removal rules more acceptable because people will not stay in jail without punishment. Fifth, speed up criminal cases. Instead of removing ministers merely on the basis of arrest, the investigation and trial of serious criminal cases against them should be expedited. This will ensure fairness and speedy justice. Sixth, independent review mechanism. An independent tribunal or judicial panel could be created to examine whether the conditions for removal have been met. This will prevent government misuse and maintain impartiality. If you liked the video, then like it now. The Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming ACT 2025. The Parliament of India has recently passed the Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Act 2025. What is the purpose of this act? The act seeks to establish a strong legal framework to drive innovation in the online gaming sector, drive economic growth, and ensure a safe digital environment for all citizens. How did it get proposed? This act was introduced as a finance bill under Articles 117 Clause 1 and 117 Clause 3 of the Constitution of India. This bill was introduced in the Parliament only on the recommendation of the President. Section 117 Clause 1, Requirement of President's Recommendation. Section 117 Clause 1 states that the recommendation of the President is necessary before any financial bill containing provisions relating to the expenditure of money is introduced in Parliament. Moreover, this bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha and not in the Rajya Sabha. This means that if a bill relates to government expenditure or provision of funds, so it can be brought only in the Lok Sabha, and before this it has to be approved by the President. It ensures that issues related to government expenditure are discussed and agreed upon by the President. Section 117 Clause 3 cannot be passed without the recommendation of the President. According to Section 117 Clause 3, if a bill affects expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India, then it cannot be passed by either the House of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, unless the President has given his assent to the bill for consideration. Why was this act necessary? Addiction and financial loss. People easily get addicted to online money games and think they can make money quickly. But the result is that people get drowned in debt. According to a report, online gaming has harmed around 45 crore people and caused losses of more than 20,000 crore rupees. Impact on mental health. The World Health Organization has classified gaming disorder as a health problem. Gaming disorder is when a person becomes so engrossed in games that they neglect other activities in their life. And yet he keeps playing, even if the consequences are harmful. Closing legal loopholes. India already has laws governing gambling and betting, such as the Indian Penal Code 2023. But there were no clear rules on online gaming. These shortcomings have also been removed by this act. Also, some gaming platforms are operated from other countries, due to which it became difficult to control them. Threat to national security. Some gaming platforms were being used for terrorism financing, illegal messaging, and money laundering, due to which the security of the country was in danger. This act is also important to prevent these problems. Promoting esports. This act promotes esports so that positive and creative changes can happen digitally. This will promote new opportunities and innovation, which will be beneficial for our youth. Key definitions. Online games. Games that are played on electronic or digital devices and are accessed via the internet or other technological means. Categories of online games. Esports. It is a competitive digital sport in which teams or players participate in organized tournaments, which demands high levels of strategy, coordination, and decision-making. For example, Wade BLZ Boy Bam became the first Indian player to win the 2025 Pokemon Go World Championship. Online social games. These games are primarily skill-based and designed for entertainment, education, or social interaction. Example: Wordle, Kahoot, etc. Online money games. Games that involve money, whether it's based on chance, skill, or both. Example: Dream 11, Rummy, Poker, Winzo, etc. Provisions and rules. To be applicable, the Act will extend to the whole of India and will apply to any online money gaming service, whether operated within or outside India. Complete ban on online money games. Online money games and their related services will be completely banned. Apart from this, the process of payment by banks or financial institutions for these games will also be stopped. Promoting esports. Esports will be recognized as a legitimate competitive sport. The ministry will formulate guidelines for youth affairs and sports and establish training academies and research centers to promote social and educational games. The government will be empowered to recognize safe and age-appropriate social games and present them on special platforms. Online Gaming Authority. A national-level regulatory authority will be created, which will categorize games and register if a game is a money game. Additionally, this authority will also resolve complaints. Crime and punishment. Offering online money games can result in a punishment of up to 3 years and a fine of up to 1 crore rupees. Promotion of such games will attract a punishment of up to 2 years and a fine of up to 50 lakh rupees. Corporate and institutional responsibility. Companies and their officers can be held accountable, especially if they didn't take the proper precautions. Investigation and enforcement power. The central government will be empowered to authorize officers to investigate, search and arrest, especially when arrests can be made without a warrant. Other measures related to online gaming. Section 69A of the Information Technology Act, 2000. It gives the government the power to block illegal websites or links. For example, 1. 524 betting and gambling websites were blocked between 2022 to 25. Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code 2021. It sets standards for online gaming platforms, such as registration of intermediaries with self-regulatory bodies. Indian Judicial Code 2023. It provides for punishment for illegal economic activities and cybercrimes. IGST Act 2017. It regulates illegal and foreign gaming platforms. Consumer Protection Act 2019. This prevents fraud and false advertising. The Central Consumer Protection Authority has warned celebrities promoting such platforms. Conclusion. The Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Act 2025 is a significant step for India's digital gaming sector. This act will not only protect citizens from misuse of online money gaming, but will also promote the development of esports and social games. However, there are some concerns such as policy changes and sudden ban on online money games may affect investor confidence. Nevertheless, this act will lay a strong foundation for India's digital and creative future. National Sports Governance ACT 2025. Let's talk about the National Sports Governance Act 2025. This act has recently been approved by the President. First of all, we need to understand how sports are organized in India. Sports policies primarily fall under the purview of state governments, as stated in Entry 33 of the 7th Schedule of the State List. We already have laws like the National Sports Policy 1984, which was amended in 2001, and the Sports Broadcasting Signals Act 2007. Recently, the Union Cabinet has approved the National Sports Policy 2025, which replaces the 2001 policy. There are 5 main pillars of this policy: global excellence, economic and social development through sports, making sports a mass movement, and integration of sports with education. Now let us talk about the main points of the National Sports Governance Act. National Sports Body. The Act provides for the establishment of National Olympic Committee, National Paralympic Committee, and national and regional sports federations for various sports. These bodies will be affiliated to international sports bodies and will have units at the state and district levels. These bodies will function according to international charters and rules. National Sports Board. This board will recognize sports bodies and grant registration to their respective units. Only recognized bodies will be able to get funds from the central government. In addition, every accredited organization must maintain a code of ethics, which sets minimum standards for appropriate and ethical behavior. This board will function as a public authority, and its selection will be based on the recommendations of a search selection committee. National Sports Tribunal. This tribunal will resolve disputes related to sports. However, it will not have jurisdiction over certain disputes, such as disputes related to sports organized by international bodies or internal disputes of national sports bodies. Monitoring of elections. The central government will form a national panel to oversee the elections of national sports bodies. Additionally, every sports body will have to form an electoral panel to oversee its elections. Powers of the central government. The central government shall have the power to exempt any national body or its units from any provision of the Act if it is necessary in the public interest for the promotion of any sport. Need for comprehensive sports legislation in India. Lack of comprehensive and uniform sports law. There is no comprehensive and uniform law relating to sports in India, due to which many existing policies have become outdated and inconsistent. For example, the National Sports Development Bill was introduced in 2013 but could not be passed. Due to this, disturbances and problems are arising in many areas. Political dominance. National sports federations are often dominated by politicians, those who have limited knowledge about sports. For example, FIFA suspended the All India Football Federation because of indirect third-party influence that undermines the autonomy of the sport. Overlap of roles and responsibilities of key organizations. As there is overlapping duties between the Sports Authority of India, Indian Olympic Association and NSFs, there is conflict with each other, due to which delay and confusion occurs in work. Financial crisis and inadequate utilization. Less than 40% of the funds allocated for athlete development in the 2022-2023 budget were used. This creates obstacles in the development of sports and player training. Lack of effective implementation of policies. The National Sports Policy, launched in 1984 and revised in 2001. It has not been implemented effectively. Preparation for the 2036 Olympics. The legislation supports India's 2036 Olympic bid, so that we can strengthen our sports system in accordance with the Olympic Charter and global best practices. Conclusion. The National Sports Governance Act 2025 aims to create transparency, accountability, and an athlete-centric ecosystem for sports in India, which is in line with global best practices and ensures continued excellence in Indian sports. National Anti-Doping Act 2025. Now we will talk about the National Anti-Doping Act 2025. Recently, it has been approved by the President. Its main objective is to prevent doping in sports. Main objective. The Act provides a robust framework for prohibiting doping, conducting testing, enforcing regulations, and taking action against violators. It implements the International Convention Against Doping established by UNESCO. Anti-Doping Agency. The Act establishes the National Anti-Doping Agency, which will enforce doping rules and monitor players. Anti-Doping Board. National Anti-Doping Board will be formed, which will monitor the activities of NADA and advise the central government on doping matters. Changes from the earlier Act. Appeals Panel. Now, the appeal panel will be constituted by the central government and not the national board. Freedom. NADA members will now be fully independent, in line with WADA and UNESCO standards. Mandatory certification of testing laboratories. Earlier it was voluntary, but now it has been made mandatory by WADA. Legal power. The Act gives legal force to the World Anti-Doping Code in India, due to which doping-related violations will be punishable under Indian law. Jan Vishwas Bill 2025. The Public Trust Bill 2025 was recently introduced in the Lok Sabha on the 18th of August 2025. This bill will work to make life easier for people and businesses by decriminalizing minor offenses. First of all, why did this bill come about? In the old laws, even minor offenses were punished severely, such as imprisonment. This increased the burden on the court and created fear in doing business. This bill is based on the Public Trust Act of 2023, in which 183 provisions of 42 central laws were decriminalized. This work was done under 19 ministries. Now the 2025 bill takes this further, covering 16 central laws from 10 ministries. Industry Minister Piyush Goyal presented it, and it has been sent to the Select Committee. Now the main features of the bill. First, there is no punishment for a first-time mistake. 76 offenses under 10 laws will only attract warnings or advice, not jail or fines. For example, under the Central Silk Board Act 1948, giving wrong information earlier led to imprisonment, but now for the first time it is a warning. Second, decriminalization of minor crimes. Jail was removed for minor technical or procedural mistakes. Instead, a fine or warning. For example, the Tea Act 1953, the Legal Metrology Act 2009, which was amended in 2023, the Motor Vehicles Act 1988, and the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 were further decriminalized. A total of 288 provisions will be affected. Third, rationalization of punishments. Fines were kept proportionate and increased for repeat offenses. This will create fear, but not too strictly. Fourth, adjudication mechanism. The authorities will now impose fines administratively, so that the burden on the court is reduced and cases are resolved quickly. Fifth, automatic revision of fines. The penalty will automatically increase by 10% every 3 years. This will eliminate the need to change the law again and again, and the punishment will remain effective. What are process reforms? These are called nuts and bolts reforms. These are small changes, like fixing a part of a law. These are different from structural reforms, like GST or bankruptcy laws, which change the entire system. Process reforms improve existing systems to make work easier and faster. The Economic Survey 2020-21 said that complex rules need to be replaced by simple and transparent processes. What is their importance? India is the fastest growing economy in the world. Process reforms accelerate this. These are the links between major changes. These ease the everyday hassles of ordinary people, businesses, and scientists. For example, new procurement rules made research easier for scientists. These remove outdated rules, paperwork, and delays. Changes in telecom rules boosted the BPO and IT sectors. Transparency reduces corruption and bribery. They create a problem-solving mindset in government so that the system is flexible and accountable. See some examples. Direct benefit transfer transfers subsidies directly into people's accounts, preventing leakage and duplication. Company liquidation used to take 4 years earlier, but now, with simplified rules, it can be done in months in some cases. Savings of 15 to 20% were achieved in purchases made through the government e-marketplace portal. Old institutions like the All India Handloom Board were closed or merged. The Public Trust Act 2023 decriminalized minor offenses of legal metrology and curbed corruption. Commercial, prohibited speech is not part of fundamental rights, SC. The Supreme Court recently gave a decision in which it is said that freedom of speech has some rules and limits. The Supreme Court was hearing a case in which some social media comedians were accused of misusing the freedom of speech by making insensitive jokes about people with disabilities. Let us understand the main points of the court. First, Article 19 Clause 1A of our Constitution gives us the freedom to speak and express our opinion. But this does not mean that we can say anything. The court said that two types of things are not included in this freedom. The first is commercial speech, that is advertisements or such things which are said only to earn money. The second is prohibited speech, that is things that promote hatred, violence or enmity. For example, speaking hateful words against any religion, caste, race or community. Second, those who have a lot of followers on social media, like influencers, they have more responsibility. The court said that he will have to understand the impact of his words if they say the wrong or insensitive things, so a wrong message will go to the society. Third, the court said that there should be punishment for such wrongdoings. For this, action can be taken under IT Rules and Cinematograph Act. Also, those who suffered losses can also get compensation. Fourth, the court asked the government to formulate clear and comprehensive guidelines to regulate social media content. This will ensure that people express themselves responsibly in the online world. Now let us also look at some old decisions of the Supreme Court which are related to this matter. In 2020, in the Amish Devgan vs Union of India case, the court clarified that there is a difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. Especially big influencers should be careful with what they say. At the same time, in the 2015 case of Shreya Singhal vs Union of India, the court said that online expression cannot be stopped unless it causes immediate harm. You can watch all the videos from this month's magazine in this playlist. Rules for OCI card tightened. Recently, in August 2025, the Home Ministry has further tightened the rules for OCI card, i.e. Overseas Citizenship of India. This notification has been issued under Section 70 of the Citizenship Act 1955. First of all, what is an OCI card? It began with the amendment to the Citizenship Act in 2005. It provides lifelong travel facility to people of Indian origin living abroad to travel to India. In 2015, the PIO card scheme was merged with OCI, and all PIO card holders were considered OCI. But remember, this is not dual citizenship, meaning political rights like voting or government positions are not available. Now the main changes to notifications. OCI registration can be cancelled if a person is sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years or more, or is charge sheeted for an offence punishable with imprisonment for 7 years or more. This rule is to prevent criminals from easily infiltrating into India. This has made OCI holders more responsible. There are also old grounds for cancelling OCI. For example, if the card has been obtained fraudulently, or the OCI holder is against the Indian Constitution, or it is necessary in the interest of India's sovereignty, security, foreign relations or public interest. What benefits do OCI holders get? They can travel to and from India with multiple entry, lifetime visa, can stay for any period of time without registering with the Foreigners Registration Officer. Like NRIs, they have equal access to economic, financial and educational facilities, but not to purchase agricultural or plantation properties. This has changed recently, because in some cases criminals were taking undue advantage of OCI. If you liked the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Election to the office of the Vice President of India. The Election Commission has announced the 17th election for the post of Vice President of India. This election will be held on the 9th of September 2025. This is happening because the current Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar resigned on July 21, 2025 due to health reasons. First, the constitutional provisions. Article 67 states that the term of the Vice President is 5 years. If the post becomes vacant, it is necessary to hold an early election under Article 68, Section 2. Who is the voter? The Electoral College, which consists of all members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both elected and nominated. Currently, there are a total of 7 A2 MEG, APE, TASEC, OND who will vote. How is the voting system? According to Article 66, Clause 1, this is proportional representation by single transferable vote, meaning voting is done by secret ballot and it is mandatory to cast first preference vote. The Election Commission handles everything. Under Article 324 and the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act, 1952. Election process. For nomination, there must be at least 20 megapixels proposers and 20 seconders. Also, a deposit of 15,000 rupees has to be made. Voting takes place in the Parliament House, where the Election Commission provides special pens. Using the wrong pen invalidates the vote. The returning officer is the Secretary General of the Rajya Sabha, and the Commission also appoints observers. There are also some strict security rules in the elections. No party can issue a whip, which means giving MPs the freedom not to vote on the party line. Violation of secrecy or showing the ballot paper to someone may result in the vote being cancelled. Bribery or undue influence is a ground for challenging an election under the 1952 Act. If possible, please like the video and leave a nice comment. This encourages us to make good videos. National Cooperative Development Corporation. The Union Cabinet has recently approved a new scheme to provide assistance to the National Cooperative Development Corporation. This scheme is granting aid to NCDC for strengthening of cooperative societies. First, about the plan. This is a 4-year plan, in which the total budget is 2,000 crore rupees. 500 crore rupees will be received every year. This money will be given to NCDC, which will be the agency implementing the scheme. NCDC will disburse funds, monitor projects, and also handle loan recovery. Now, what is a grant in aid? This is help provided by the government, such as donations or contributions. One government gives it to another. Our Constitution provides for statutory grants under Article 275, which are determined by law, and discretionary grants under Article 282, which are given as per need. This scheme is a similar help, which will strengthen the rural economy. What is the work of NCDC? It is a major center of financial help for cooperative societies. These committees have 29 crore members in India, of which 94% are farmers. This money will help them for new projects, technology upgradation and employment. National Cooperative Development Corporation. NCDC was established in 1963 by an Act of Parliament as a statutory corporation under the Ministry of Cooperation. The NCDC Act has been amended to widen the scope of operations of the corporation, enabling it to assist a variety of cooperative organizations and also to expand its financial base. NCDC is managed by a General Council, in which there are 51 members. These members shape the policies and programs of the corporation. Daily operations are handled by a 12-member management board. Now we will cover all these topics of international relations. Fair and representative global order. Recently, the Foreign Minister of India spoke about this at the BIMSTEC Traditional Music Festival. Why is the global system not fair? First, unequal representation in global institutions. For example, 5 countries, China, France, Russia, Britain, and the United States, have permanent seats and veto power on the United Nations Security Council. This means that these countries can take major decisions, and the voices of other countries are suppressed. Second, the neglect of the Global South. The Global South, i.e. developing countries, such as India and African countries, have less voting power in the International Monetary Fund. For example, the US has 16.49% of the vote, whereas its population is only 4.22% of the world. This is inequality. Third, multilateral cooperation is weak. Some powerful countries ignore global forums. For example, the US decided to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization, which weakens global cooperation. Fourth, discrimination in trade. Some countries use trade for their own interests. For example, the US imposed a 25% tariff on imports from India, and the EU's carbon tax also creates difficulties for developing countries. Fifth, inequality in climate change. Industrialized countries, such as the US, are responsible for 20% of historical carbon emissions, but the Global South is the hardest hit. For example, in 2024, severe heat and drought in the Philippines kill many people. Sixth, the gap between technology and knowledge. 40% of the world's private research and development investment is made by just 100 companies, mostly in the US and China. This increases technological inequality. How to make it better? First, reform of global institutions. G4 countries like India, Brazil, Germany, and Japan are demanding a permanent seat in the UN Security Council so that everyone's voice is heard. Second, strengthen the Global South. India has launched platforms like the Voice of the Global South Summit, which are steps towards an inclusive world order. Third, implementing the Rio de Janeiro Declaration. The announcement, made at the 17th BRICS Summit, calls for inclusive AI governance and changes to IMF quotas to better reflect global realities. Fourth, reducing the digital and technological divide. India's digital public infrastructure model, such as Aadhaar and UPI, is an example for the Global South. This should be promoted further. Fifth, climate justice. Strengthening frameworks such as common but differentiated responsibilities so that industrialized countries take responsibility for climate change. Conclusion. For a fair global order, we need inclusive institutions, equitable financial support, and balanced cooperation between North and South. Emerging countries like India can become a bridge in this direction. Recently, India raised this issue in forums like BRICS and BIMSTEC, which is a positive step. If you liked the video, then like it now. India's strategy in Indian Ocean. Recently, the Parliamentary Committee on External Affairs presented a report on India's Indian Ocean strategy in the Lok Sabha. Let us understand why the Indian Ocean is important and what is India's strategy. Why is the Indian Ocean important? It is the third largest ocean in the world. 1/3 of the world's population lives in it. 2/3 of the world's oil shipments pass through this ocean. 90% of India's trade, especially almost all oil imports, passes through the Indian Ocean. India has an exclusive economic zone of 2.4 million square kilometers in this region. India's Indian Ocean strategy. First, strategic partnership. India's strategy is based on the Neighborhood First policy and the Sagar Doctrine. In March 2025, India launched the Mahasagar concept, which is an extension of Sagar. This means promoting overall security and development in the region. Second, net security provider. India is the major provider of security in the Indian Ocean. India takes action against piracy, illegal fishing, maritime terrorism and crimes. India shares information with other countries through its Information Fusion Center and conducts joint EEZ surveillance exercises. Third, cooperation with coastal countries. India enjoys strong relations with coastal countries like Mauritius, Maldives, Sri Lanka and Seychelles. India provides development assistance, capacity building, disaster relief and defense security cooperation to these countries. Fourth, regional leadership. India plays a key role in multilateral forums such as the Indian Ocean Rim Association and the Indian Ocean Commission. Fifth, infrastructure and connectivity. India is investing in the development of ports like Chabahar Port of Iran and also in Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Seychelles. The Sagarmala 2.0 scheme promotes India's port connectivity, inland waterways, and industrial development. Sixth, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. India has emerged as the first responder in disasters. For example, following the recent floods caused by Typhoon Yagi, India launched Operation Sadbhav and provided relief materials and medical assistance to Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam. Important multilateral forum in the Indian Ocean region. First, the Indian Ocean Rim Association. India is a founding member among its 23 member countries. This organization promotes economic cooperation, maritime security, and environmental protection. Second, the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium. India started it in 2008. Its aim is to increase maritime cooperation between the navies of coastal countries. Third, the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative. India launched it in 2019. It is an open, non-treaty-based global initiative that focuses on the management, conservation and protection of marine areas. Fourth, quadrilateral security dialogue. This includes India, America, Japan and Australia. It works on issues such as maritime security, disaster relief, environmental protection, connectivity, cybersecurity and supply chains. Fifth, BIMSTEC. India leads the security pillar in this, which includes terrorism, disaster management and energy security. Sixth, the Indian Ocean Commission. It is a small organization that focuses on economic, environmental and maritime security. India is an observer country in this. Challenges and threats to India's strategy. First, geopolitical challenges. The growing presence of outside countries, especially China in the region. For example, China's port and infrastructure investments in Sri Lanka and the Maldives are impacting India's security interests. Small island states create a balance between India and other countries which hinders stable cooperation. Second, maritime security. The region faces problems such as piracy, terrorism, illegal fishing, drug trafficking and smuggling. Third, lack of infrastructure and connectivity. India's partner countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius and Seychelles lack infrastructure and financial resources. The way forward. First, strategic engagement planning. India should develop a comprehensive and flexible plan for the 35 coastal countries, covering maritime security, climate resilience, infrastructure, and defense cooperation. Second, institutionalized strategy implementation. An interministerial task force should be formed to coordinate between various ministries and expedite implementation of India's interests. Third, integration of Indian Ocean and Indo-Pacific strategy. An integrated maritime strategy should be developed by strengthening cooperation through forums such as Quad, IORA and ASEAN. Fourth, Green Mahasagar. India should incorporate environmental sustainability into its strategy, such as protecting marine ecosystems, reducing pollution, and promoting the blue economy. Fifth, Strengthen maritime strategy. Advanced technologies like satellite surveillance and AI-based maritime awareness should enhance India's maritime power. Sixth, the role of the Indian Navy. Naval readiness training, logistics and indigenous development should be given priority under Atmanirbhar Bharat. Seventh, increasing cultural influence. Indian missions should provide more funding for cultural centers, art exhibitions and heritage promotion. Conclusion. India's Indian Ocean strategy focuses on promoting security, regional cooperation and economic interests. Its aim is to make the Indian Ocean free, open and inclusive based on the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Recent steps like Operation Sadbhav after Typhoon Yagi show India's commitment. Association of Southeast Asian Nations Centrality. Recently, it has been reported that the central role of ASEAN is under increasing pressure due to rivalry and trade tensions among big countries. What is ASEAN? ASEAN was established in 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. When the Bangkok Declaration was signed, its objectives are regional economic and cultural progress, peace, stability and the rule of law, as well as cooperation in education, trade, agriculture and industry. Its headquarters is in Jakarta, Indonesia. It has 10 member countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand and Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia. The ASEAN Summit is its largest policy-making forum, in which leaders of all member countries participate. Article 1.15 of the ASEAN Charter states that ASEAN aims to play a central role in regional and external cooperation. Relevance of ASEAN centrality in the region. Security and stability. ASEAN promotes security and maritime dialogue through forums such as the Regional Forum and the ASEAN Defense Ministers Meeting Plus. Economic integration. ASEAN launched RCEP, which strengthens trade in Asia-Pacific. Rulemaking. Frameworks such as the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation enhanced regional cooperation. Now big countries like China, America and Russia are also its signatories. Threats to ASEAN centrality. Rivalry between big countries. US-China competition is weakening ASEAN unity. US tariffs. These tariffs are destabilizing the international trade system vital to ASEAN economies. New regional structures. New groupings such as the Quad and AUKUS are challenging ASEAN-led forums such as the East Asia Summit. Internal differences. For example, Vietnam wants a tough stance against China, while Cambodia and Laos depend on Chinese investment. Credibility crisis. ASEAN's 5-point consensus could not be implemented in the Myanmar crisis, due to which interference from foreign countries increased. Institutional weakness. The ASEAN Secretariat is under-resourced, due to which it is difficult to achieve big goals. Way to strengthen ASEAN centrality. Upgrading ASEAN. The ASEAN Community Vision 2045 and the Economic and Security Strategy are steps in the right direction. Cooperation with like-minded countries. For example, the EU is expanding free trade agreements with ASEAN. Formal consultation mechanism. Joint initiatives with groups like the Quad and linking to ASEAN-led processes. Close partnership with India. India can enhance cooperation with ASEAN in regional trade, economic diversification and stability. How can India deal with the shift in ASEAN centrality? Coordination of efforts. India's Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative and ASEAN's outlook on the Indo-Pacific can enhance cooperation on maritime security, disaster relief and the blue economy. Alignment with sub-regional frameworks. Cooperation with forums such as IORA, BIMSTEC, and the Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle. Review of ASEAN-India Trade Agreement, making it more effective, simple, and business-friendly. Tourism Cooperation Plan 2023 to 2027. To enhance cooperation in tourism, education, training, and research. Conclusion. ASEAN is the major organization of Southeast Asia. To maintain its central role, it will have to focus on regional development while avoiding the strategic ambitions of outside countries. India has recently been working towards increasing trade and maritime cooperation with ASEAN, which is a positive step. India-Philippines Strategic Partnership. A declaration was signed by President of the Philippines Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi in New Delhi on the 5th of August 2025. This formally elevated the bilateral relations between the two countries to the level of strategic partnership. This partnership will be guided by an action plan running from 2025 to 2029. A total of 13 bilateral agreements were signed, covering areas such as defense, trade, science, tourism, and technology. It also celebrates 75 years of diplomatic friendship, which began in 1949. Now, how did India-Philippines relations strengthen? It is linked to India's Look East policy and Act East policy. These policies strengthen relations with Eastern Asian countries, and the Philippines is an important partner in this. What is convergence of relationships? First, defense partnership. Trust has grown between the two countries, especially through defense cooperation. For example, India made its first foreign export of the BrahMos missile to the Philippines, a deal worth $375 million. This supersonic cruise missile will strengthen the coastal security of the Philippines. Recently, both the navies also conducted their first joint naval exercise in the South China Sea. Second, the China factor. China's growing aggression in the South China Sea is threatening the sovereignty of the Philippines, as well as India's maritime trade routes. Due to this, both the countries are coming closer. India supports the 2016 arbitration ruling, which strengthens the rules-based regime under UNCLOS. India demands freedom of navigation and a rules-based order in the South China Sea. Third, the Indo-Pacific vision. The Philippines is a key player in India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific outreach. This partnership will enhance cooperation in cyber, economy, maritime, and defense. Conclusion. India-Philippines relations have now become strategically deep. This will promote a rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific and strengthen India's Act East policy. Together, the two countries will ensure prosperity, stability, and security in the region. UN-India Global Capacity Building Initiative. This is a special project started jointly by India and the United Nations. Its aim is to share India's development experiences and our good practices with other countries of the world, especially with countries in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. It was launched in September 2023. That means it's still very new and full of so many possibilities. Its goal is to help countries in the Global South progress faster. How? Through training and capacity building programs. These programs help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The SDGs are goals designed to improve the world, like eradication of poverty, good education, and protection of environment. How is this work being done? There are two major ways to do this. The first is the UN-India SDG Country Fund. This is a new fund that supports these projects. The second is the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program, which we call ITEC. India already provides training and technical assistance to many countries through ITEC. Recently, India has launched several projects under this initiative. These projects are for Asia, Africa, and Caribbean countries. These include teaching people new skills, providing technical information, and sharing new development methods. For example, India recently launched training programs on digital education and healthcare for some African countries. All these are part of this initiative. Eurasian Economic Union. We will talk about India's free trade agreement with the Eurasian Economic Union, i.e., EAEU. In August 2025, the two signed the terms of reference for the trade deal. These signatures mark the formal beginning of negotiations for a free trade agreement. Its aim is to create a long-term framework for business cooperation. This is a big step, which will take India towards new markets. What are the potential benefits of this FTA? Let's start with the economic benefits. The biggest advantage is business expansion. This will unlock untapped trade potential, boost investments, and build a strong India-EAEU economic partnership. For example, bilateral trade between the two is projected to reach $69 billion in 2024, up 7% from 2023. Second, market access. This will open up huge opportunities for Indian exporters, especially amid rising US tariffs. India will be able to diversify into new sectors and geographies. Third, competitiveness will increase. This will strengthen India against non-market economies and will especially benefit micro, small, and medium enterprises. Fourth, energy partnership. The EAEU is rich in natural resources and energy, which are essential for India's development needs. For example, Russia now supplies 35 to 40% of India's total oil imports, strengthening our energy security. Now the strategic advantages. Strengthening ties with this Russia-led bloc will further strengthen India's multi-alignment policy. This means that we will be able to maintain balanced relations with many countries, which will increase our independence in global politics. What is the EAU? It is an international organization formed for regional economic integration. It includes 5 countries, namely Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, and Russia. It was born out of the Eurasian Economic Union Treaty in 2014. These unions ensure the free movement of goods, services, capital and workers, making trade easier between member countries. Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. In August 2025, Russia officially ended its commitment to the 1987 IFN Treaty. Russia cited America's recent military actions as the main reason for this. For example, the US ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be deployed close to Russian shores. Also deployed Typhoon missile systems in the Philippines. All these were considered steps that increased tension. Now let us know about IFN Treaty. This treaty was signed between America and the Soviet Union in 1987. Its main rule was that all ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles with a range of 500 to 5,500 kilometers had to be destroyed. It was the first major treaty to reduce nuclear weapons, removed an entire category of weapons and allowed on-site inspection for verification. But this treaty was already weakened after America's withdrawal in 2019. What are its effects now? Impact on nuclear arms control. The biggest threat is the breakdown of the arms control framework. This undermines trust and hinders future nuclear disarmament efforts. Second, negative impact on nuclear disarmament. Major countries are accelerating nuclear modernization, while non-nuclear countries are reconsidering their non-proliferation commitments. This is increasing global instability. Third, the return of Cold War politics. The collapse of the treaty raises fears of a repeat of the European missile crisis like it used to be in the old days. Fourth, increasing security risks. Such missiles reach the target in less time. This increases the possibility of a global nuclear conflict due to a false launch warning. Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement brokered by the United States. It was signed on the 8th of August 2025 at the White House by Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev under the mediation of US President Donald Trump. Now, what are the main clauses of the agreement? The first is the cessation of hostilities. Both countries promise to end armed conflict and respect each other's territorial integrity. The second is Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity, i.e. TRIP. This is a new transit route that will connect Azerbaijan with its exclave Nakhchivan passing through Armenian territory. The US has received exclusive development rights for 99 years, which will be important for energy and trade. Third, cooperation with America. Both countries separately signed agreements with the US to enhance cooperation in energy, technology, and economy. This will open up economic opportunities in the South Caucasus region. Now let us understand the background of the conflict. The dispute is primarily over Nagorno-Karabakh, which lies within Azerbaijan but was populated mostly by Armenians. In the 1980s, Nagorno-Karabakh attempted to secede from Azerbaijan with the support of Armenia. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, both countries became independent, but the conflict continued. Azerbaijan gains full control in 2023, due to which about 1 lakh Armenians fled Armenia. This agreement is aimed at reducing that pain. What is India's interest? India supports the peace deal and calls it a significant achievement for dialogue and diplomacy. Because Armenia is the only country in the region with which India has a 1995 Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. Also, Azerbaijan lies on the route of the International North-South Transport Corridor, which connects India to Russia through Central Asia. This will strengthen our trade and connectivity. If you liked the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Alaska Summit. US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin meet at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska on August 15, 2025. The main discussion was on preventing the Russia-Ukraine war. Trump called for a ceasefire, but no concrete agreement was reached. Putin proposed ceding the Donbas region to Russia, but Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky rejected it. Both leaders described the talks as useful, but the war still continues. Trump will now meet Zelensky at the White House to explore ways to peace. Now let us know about Alaska. Alaska is a non-native state in the US, which is located on the northwestern edge of the North American continent. This is the largest state in America, but the population is less. It was purchased by the US from Russia for $7.2 million under the Alaska Treaty in 1867. Russia then found this a sincerity, but today it is a treasure trove of gold and oil. What are the maritime boundaries of Alaska? The Beaufort Sea and the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Gulf of Alaska and the Pacific Ocean to the south, the Bering Sea to the west, and the Chukchi Sea to the northwest. These borders bring it closer to Russia, which was symbolic for the summit. What are the specialties of Alaska? The northern lights or aurora borealis are easily visible here, the colorful dance of the sky. About 1/3 of the state lies within the Arctic Circle, and 85% is under permafrost. This cold area is important for the environment and energy. Asia Pacific Institute for Broadcasting Development. India was elected chairman of the Executive Board of AIBD at the 23rd AIBD General Conference held in Phuket, Thailand from 19 to the 21st of August 2025. India got the most votes. Prasar Bharati CEO Shri Gaurav Dwivedi, who is also the president of AIBD-GC, expressed his gratitude to all the member countries. He said that India is proud of this leadership, and in the coming times it will contribute more strongly to the programs of AIBD. This is India's second term as chairman after 2016, which shows its increasing role in our media sector. Now let us know about AIBD. The Asia Pacific Institute for Broadcasting Development is a unique regional intergovernmental organization. It was born in 1977 under the protection of UNESCO. Its headquarters is in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. What is the mandate of AIBD? Its mission is to create a vibrant and cohesive electronic media ecosystem in the Asia Pacific region. That is, strengthening radio, TV and digital media, so that the exchange of information becomes easier and development takes place. How many members are there? There are currently 92 member organizations from 45 countries. India is its founding member. Prasar Bharati, India's public service broadcaster, represents the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in the AIBD. If possible, please like the video and leave a nice comment. This encourages us to make good videos. Areas in conflict in news. We will talk about areas in the news that are grappling with conflict. These are Gaza, Sudan, Ukraine, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. First up, Gaza. It is a small coastal strip along the eastern Mediterranean Sea. It is bordered by Israel to the north and east and Egypt to the southwest. About 2.2 million people live here, which is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. The main conflict areas are Khan Yunis, Rafah, Jabalia, and Deir el-Balah. Recently, in August 2025, the United Nations officially declared a famine in Gaza. More than 500,000 people are facing starvation due to Israel's prolonged blockade and aid restrictions following Hamas's attacks on Israel. The UN said this is the famine of the 21st century, where people are dying of hunger amidst drones and modern weapons. Next, Sudan. It is located in northeastern Africa, bordered by Egypt to the north and the Red Sea to the northeast. It is the third largest country in Africa, where the White Nile and Blue Nile rivers flow. The main conflict areas are Darfur, Khartoum, South Kordofan, and Blue Nile states. In April 2023, a power struggle between the army and the Rapid Support Forces led to a civil war. The army recaptured Khartoum by March 2025, but Darfur and Kordofan are occupied by the RSF. Now Ukraine. It is bordered by Russia to the east and the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov to the south. Here the Dnipro River flows through Kyiv to the Black Sea. To the west are the Carpathian Mountains, and to the south are the Crimean Mountains. The main regions are Kyiv, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Cherkasy, Chernihiv, and Kharkiv. Russian missile and drone attacks are worsening the humanitarian situation. In April 2025, a major attack took place on Kyiv. Kharkiv and Zaporizhia were also affected. Finally, the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is the second largest country in Central Africa. The Congo River Basin is here, which is Africa's second longest river, and the Congo rainforest is Africa's second largest tropical forest, rich in minerals like cobalt, copper, and gold. The main conflict provinces are North Kivu and Ituri. In the east, ethnic tensions, weak governance, and mineral plunder have fueled long-running wars. From January 2025, M23 rebels overran North and South Kivu, taking control of the city of Goma. In this video, we will cover all these topics of security. High-powered demography mission. Recently, the Prime Minister had announced the high-powered demography mission on Independence Day. The aim of this mission is to solve the problem of people entering India illegally, i.e. illegal immigrants. First of all, let us understand who are illegal immigrants. These are people who sneak into the country by crossing the border without the correct documents, such as passports and visas. The government does not have their exact number, but in 2016, it was reported that about 2 crore Bangladeshis were living illegally in India. Now let's see what problems this creates. Impact on national security. Many times terrorist organizations use such people for their work. Smuggling, human trafficking, and other crimes already occur at our borders. This increases the danger further. The states that have been most affected are Assam and the states bordering Bangladesh. The population balance has changed here, due to which Assamese identity is being felt to be under threat. Social and economic impact. Illegal immigrants take over local jobs, often work for low wages. due to which the livelihood of local laborers is affected. These people also increase the burden on health services, ration, and other government schemes. Many times they even occupy agricultural land and forests. What steps has the government taken? The Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025 has been introduced, which gives the authorities the right to catch and deport illegal immigrants. National Register of Citizens (IENRC) has been created in Assam. Citizenship Amendment Act (IECAA) was also implemented in 2019. Fencing and lighting is being done on the border. Now smart technologies like radar, sensors and drones are also being used. Courts called foreigners tribunals have been created, which decides who is a citizen of India and who is not. What needs to be done next? Border security and intelligence systems will have to be further strengthened. Floating checkpoints and drone surveillance can be installed in riverine areas along the border. India needs a national refugee law, so that a distinction can be made between real refugees and illegal laborers. By making agreements with Bangladesh and other countries, the process of sending back their citizens will have to be expedited. Biometric records of all illegal people should be maintained, and national identity cards should be given to citizens. Conclusion. This high-powered demography mission is the need of the hour. If implemented correctly, both border security and society will be safe. Quick decisions, strong fencing and good international agreements are the keys to its success. If you like the video, then like it now. Increase private sector share in defense production. According to recent data from the Department of Defense Production, the share of the private sector is expected to increase to 23% in FY 2024-25. This is the third consecutive year that the participation of private companies has increased. Now the question arises, how was this possible? Institutional reform. The government created the Chief of Defense Staff and the Department of Military Affairs, so that coordination among the three forces increases and the use of indigenous equipment increases. Policy reform. A new defense acquisition procedure was introduced in 2020, in which domestic purchases were given priority. This opened the way for large contracts for private companies. FDI policy was liberalized. Now up to 74% can be invested through the automatic route, and up to 100% with the permission of the government. This led to initiatives like the Tata-Airbus partnership. Import of more than 500 defense items was stopped under the positive indigenization lists, meaning now they will have to be made within the country itself. Private companies were encouraged to invest in defense production through the Make in India campaign. Industrial structure and budget. The TANS industrial corridors were built in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, where special facilities are being given to the companies. For the financial year 2025-26, the government has kept 75% of the modernization budget, i.e. 1.11 lakh rupees crore, for procurement from Indian companies only. Innovation and easy business environment. Schemes like IDEX and ADIT are providing grants to startups and MSMEs to develop new weapons like drones, AI, and quantum technology. The licensing process has been simplified, many defense items have been delicensed, and digital permission system has been implemented. But there are challenges too. India is still lagging behind in many matters. The target of defense exports is not being met. Like HAL lost Malaysia's LCA contract, we are dependent on imports for many raw materials and high-tech parts. The delay in the supply of S-400 due to the Russia-Ukraine war is an example of dependence on imports. Foreign companies often do not fully share their technology, due to which the development of advanced technology in India slows down. We lack depth in new technologies like AI, hypersonics, cyber warfare. A large part of the defense budget goes towards salaries and pensions. This leaves less money for research and modernization. The way forward: investment in defense, research and development needs to be increased, not only purchasing from foreign companies, but a policy of technology sharing and joint production will have to be adopted. Engineers and technical human resources with special skills will have to be prepared. To increase competitiveness in exports, DPSUs and private companies should jointly participate in foreign contracts. Startups and MSMEs should be provided continuous financial and technical support. The government should keep DRDO's focus on research and involve the private sector and universities in it. Conclusion. The coming decade is a big opportunity for India. Now India can become not just a manufacturer but an innovator. From AI-based weapons to space and cyber defense, India can reshape the world's defense technology. If we harness the energy of youth, global partnerships and the power of startups, India can play a leading role in the global chain of defense production. Sudarshan Chakra Mission. On the 15th of August 2025, our Prime Minister announced Sudarshan Chakra Mission on the occasion of 79th Independence Day. This mission is a big step towards further strengthening India's defense system. Its name is inspired by the Sudarshan Chakra of Lord Vishnu, which is considered a very powerful and accurate weapon. Similarly, this mission has been created to protect our army from enemy attacks and increase our strength. The mission aims to develop air defense systems with the aim of neutralizing enemy defense intrusions and enhancing India's offensive capabilities. Additionally, the Indian Air Force is pushing for faster progress on Project Kusha, an indigenous initiative led by the DRDO to develop a long-range air defense missile system. What is the objective of this mission? Firstly, this mission will further strengthen India's defense. It is part of a multi-layered missile defense system. That means a multi-layered protective shield. This means that if an enemy attacks, so we can stop it mid-air. Second, it will also enhance our offensive capability so that we can provide accurate and fast responses when needed. All this will make our army stronger. What is Project Kusha? Project Kusha is an important part of this mission. It is being manufactured jointly by DRDO, i.e. Defense Research and Development Organization, and Bharat Electronics Limited. The goal is to develop a long-range air-to-air missile, which we call the Long-Range Surface-to-Air Missile or LRSAM. This missile will be ready by 2028-2029. This missile will be so special that it can destroy enemy aircraft or missiles from a distance. What are the highlights of the mission? Advanced technology. The mission will combine modern surveillance, cybersecurity, and physical infrastructure security. Precision attack. This system will be very precise, meaning it will hit the target exactly. Indigenous technology. It will be made entirely in India. From making it to using it, everything will be ours. Air superiority. This will provide a protective shield to our troops on the ground. Deterrence effect. This will be a warning to enemies that India is ready to respond to any attack. Self-reliance. This mission will make India self-reliant in the field of defense. Conclusion. The Zolio's Sudarshan Chakra mission is a wonderful blend of India's cultural heritage and modern technology. This mission will not only strengthen our defense, rather, it will also show the world that India is fully prepared to protect its sovereignty. This will make us self-reliant and powerful. First successful flight test of Integrated Air Defense Weapon System. What does IADWS mean? On the 23rd of August 2025, DRDO i.e. Defense Research and Development Organization successfully conducted the first flight test of IADWS off the coast of Odisha. This is a multi-layered air defense system which will further strengthen India's security. The test involved the accurate destruction of 3 different targets, 2 high-speed fixed-wing drones and 1 multi-copter drone at different distances and altitudes. This achievement is a big step towards Sudarshan Chakra mission. What are the major parts of the IADWS? The system is a combination of 3 indigenous technologies. What makes it special? Quick reaction surface-to-air missile. It has been made by DRDO. It protects armored vehicles from air attacks at a range of 5 to 30 kilometers. It works on mobile platforms. That means it can provide air defense even while moving. Advanced very short-range air defense system. It has been developed by Research Center Imarat. It is a man-portable air defense system that destroys low-flying threats such as drones or helicopters. High-power laser-based directed energy weapon. It has been created by the Center for High Energy Systems and Sciences. It uses laser beams which can destroy targets at the speed of light. It is powerful enough to cut the target or damage its structure. Command Center. All these weapons are controlled by a centralized command and control center, which has been made by Defense Research and Development Laboratory. This center connects all the systems together and ensures precise operation. Recently, India successfully tested AGNI-5 missile. The test took place under the supervision of the Strategic Forces Command. The SFC is part of India's Nuclear Command Authority, which handles our country's strategic and tactical nuclear weapons. This missile is so special that it takes India's defense power to new heights. Features of Agni-5. What is Agni-5? It is a nuclear-capable surface-to-surface ballistic missile. This means that it is a surface-to-surface missile which can carry nuclear weapons. How does it work? The missile is powered by a 3-stage solid fuel engine, which makes it very powerful and fast. What is the range? It can hit targets at a distance of more than 5,000 kilometers. That is, it can hit targets far away from India. Who made it? It has been made by DRDO i.e. Defense Research and Development Organization. It is part of the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, under which missiles like Prithvi, Trishul, Nag and Akash have also been made. Special feature. Agni 5 features multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology. This means it can engage multiple targets simultaneously. Only a few countries, like the US, Russia, China, and France, have this technology. India has now joined this count. If you like the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Exercises in news. SLINE X25 concluded on the 18th of August 2025 in the sea west of Colombo. SLINE X25 is a naval exercise between India and Sri Lanka. What is SLINE X25? SLINE XIE, Sri Lanka-India Naval Exercise, is a bilateral naval exercise conducted between India and Sri Lanka. It started in 2005. The exercise took place from 14 to the 18th of August 2025 in Colombo, Sri Lanka. This time, INS Rana and INS Jyoti participated from India's side. SLNS Gajabahu and SLNS Vijayabahu participated from the Sri Lankan side. Additionally, BEL 412 helicopters of the Sri Lankan Air Force and Special Forces from both countries also participated in the exercise. Now we will cover all these topics of environment. E-mobility. Recently, Niti Aayog has released a report, whose name is $200 billion Potential Electric Vehicles in India. Along with this, he also launched the India Electric Mobility Index. This index shows how well different states of India are doing in promoting electric vehicles. What is India Electric Mobility Index? This is a tool that measures the progress of states. It has been jointly created by Niti Aayog and World Resources Institute India. This index focuses on three main factors. Transport electrification progress. That is, how many electric vehicles are people buying? Charging infrastructure readiness. How ready are the charging stations? EV research and innovation. New technology and research for electric vehicles. In this index, states have been divided into 4 groups. Achievers, those who score 100. Frontrunners, score 65 to 99. Performers, score 50 to 64. Aspirants, score 0 to 49. Delhi performed best in 2024. Its score was 77. After this came the turn of Maharashtra, Chandigarh and Karnataka. What are electric vehicles? Electric vehicles are those vehicles which run on electricity. There are several types of these. Battery electric vehicles. These are completely battery operated. Hybrid vehicles. These have both an engine and an electric motor. Fuel cell vehicles. These run on electricity generated through fuel cell technology. Plug-in hybrids. These have both an engine and a rechargeable battery. Status of e-mobility in India. In 2024, 20,80,000 electric vehicles were sold in India, which was only 50,000 in 2016. That means we have made a lot of progress. But still only 7.6% of vehicles were electric in 2024, while our target is to have 30% electric vehicles by 2030. Major challenges. Financial challenges. The cost of e-buses and trucks is 2 to 3 times more than petrol-diesel vehicles, which is difficult for small traders. Banks are hesitant to lend to small operators because they fear getting their money back. Vehicle-related challenges. Heavy and expensive batteries reduce the load capacity of trucks. Due to the 15-year scrap rule, their resale value decreases. Charging infrastructure challenges. Public charging is 4 times more expensive than charging at home. Problems in getting electricity connections, such as different fees and tariffs. Lack of land in cities and on highways. People consider charging stations unsafe. Lack of coordination between power companies, municipal corporations and departments. No single app for charging location, booking and payment. Challenges of awareness and perception. Confusion due to different subsidies in states. Awareness campaigns are weak. Misconceptions, fire hazard, battery failure, range anxiety, resale anxiety. Lack of data and regulations. Vahan database does not have accurate EV information, due to which policy making is difficult. Tracking and recycling difficult due to lack of unique ID for batteries. GST reversal, input 18% and output 5%, leading to money getting stuck. Steps taken by India. PME Drive Scheme. Support for e-2-wheelers, e-3-wheelers, e-trucks, e-buses, e-ambulances and charging, as well as incentives to buyers. Electric Passenger Car Manufacturing Scheme. Incentives for global companies to invest in India. PM E-Bus Service Scheme. 38,000 plus e-buses operated in payment security to operators. PLI Scheme. Investment for domestic production and 50% value addition. PLI Advanced Chemistry Cell. 50 gigawatt-hours, battery manufacturing, reducing imports, cost reduction. GST on EVs reduced from 12% to 5%. Evolution Program. Support to startups by the Department of Science. Suggestions for the future. From incentive to mandate. Set targets for the production of zero-emission vehicles. Increase registration fees/taxes for ICE vehicles. Saturation approach. Bring 100% electric mobility to 5 selected cities in 5 years, which includes infrastructure, fleet electrification and financing. E-bus and e-truck financing. Pool funds from public and multilateral sources so that you can get loans with low interest. Battery research. Educational institutions, industry and government should work together on new battery technology. Strategic charging infrastructure. Build 20 major corridors, create nodal agencies. Identify hub locations and increase efficiency with time-based pricing. National EV app. Create an app for finding charging stations, booking, payments, and separate power lines, further reducing costs. Bring in leasing models for buses and trucks. Help smaller operators. Track health with battery as a service and battery passport. Batteries account for 40% of the cost of an EV. Awareness and information. Launch a national awareness program. Understand stakeholders, data needs, and build systems of information for decision-making. Best ways to adopt EVs. China. In the 10 cities 1,000 vehicles program, 10 pilot cities deployed 1,000 new energy vehicles in public fleets. Singapore. EV electric charging company coordinated with all agencies to build charging stations. Europe. The ChargeMap app is integrated with real-time charging data, reviews, and navigation. UK. The Advanced Propulsion Centre funds the prototype to bring it to production. The Faraday Battery Challenge led to the creation of the UK Battery Industrialization Centre, which helps in production scaling. If you like the video, then like it now. India's resolution on wise use of wetlands. Recently, the Ramsar 15th Conference of Parties was held in Zimbabwe. Here, India's proposal, promoting sustainable lifestyles for wetlands, was adopted by 172 countries. This is a big step, which emphasizes on changing lifestyle for the environment. This proposal is linked to the principles of Mission Life. What is Mission Life? This is a global movement led by India, which was launched in 2021 at the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow. Its aim is to make people and communities live in harmony with nature, so as not to harm the environment. For example, using less plastic or saving water. About the wise use of wetlands. Wise use of wetlands is a key principle of the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is a 1971 international agreement to protect wetlands. Meaning of wise use? Maintaining the ecology of wetlands with sustainable development. That is, using them in an ecosystem-based way, like fishing, but without causing too much damage. Responsibility of countries? Promoting it through national plans, laws, management, and public awareness. India's approach to wise use of wetlands. National Plan for Conservation of Aquatic Ecosystems. This is a plan to save water ecosystems. Integrated management plans. Develop strategies for sustainable use. The framework for implementing it is Wetland Wise Use, an implementation framework released in 2024. Mission Partnership and Save Wetlands campaign. More than 2 million citizens volunteered, due to which more than 170,000 wetlands were mapped. Other outcomes of COP15. There were many good initiatives at COP15. Let us understand from the table. Adoption of the Victoria Falls Declaration. Recognition of the ecological, social and economic role of wetlands. Contribute to biodiversity, climate change prevention and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Launch of Indo-Burma Ramsar Regional Initiative. Strategic Plan 2025 to 2030. Halting and reversing wetland loss. Countries: Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam. Launch of Bridge Program grants. On gender mainstreaming and women's leadership. Freshwater Challenge. To better enforce the convention, support the establishment of the Global Waterbird Estimates Partnership. Under Ramsar, GWEP collects data, enhances monitoring. Cloudbursts in Himalayan regions. Recently, cloudbursts have caused havoc in many areas of India, especially in states like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu and Kashmir. Many incidents happened in 2025 itself. What is a cloudburst? A cloudburst is a sudden and heavy downpour that drops a lot of water in a short period of time. Sometimes it comes with hail and thunder, which creates flood-like conditions. According to the Meteorological Department, if 10 centimeters of rain falls at a station in 1 hour, it is called a cloudburst. Recent example: Chamoli cloudburst in Uttarakhand, 6 houses buried under debris in Nandanagar Ghat area due to heavy rain at 2:30 am. 7 people are missing, 2 were rescued. The Meteorological Department issued a 20-hour orange alert. Kishtwar cloudburst in Jammu and Kashmir. Flash floods in Chosoti village at 11:30 am resulted in over 45 deaths. 167 injured and more than 220 missing. Temples, houses and bridges on the Machail Mata Yatra route were washed away. Army and NDRF carried out the rescue. Uttarkashi cloudburst in Uttarakhand. Kheer Ganga river in Dharali and Sukhi top overflowed. 5 deaths, more than 50 missing. Char Dham Yatra was affected. These incidents show the fragile ecology of the Himalayas. Why do they erupt more in the mountains? Clouds burst even in the plains, but more in hilly areas like Himalayas because of orographic lift. The wind hits the mountains and rises up. Clouds form and suddenly burst. See infographic. In mountainous areas, moist air rises and creates heavy rain. Challenges of dealing with cloudbursts. Climate change. Rainfall patterns have deteriorated due to global warming. Every 1 degree Celsius increase in temperature adds 7% more moisture to the air, due to which the rain becomes intense. The problem of forecasting. This is very local and short-term, making prediction difficult. Satellites are not accurate. Doppler radars give 3 hours advance warning but are expensive and infrequent. Human factor. Deforestation, loss of wetlands and unplanned development reduce natural absorption capacity, increasing flooding and damage. The way forward. Coordination between agencies. The center and the states should jointly update rules, change laws and review policies. Deliver warnings to the last mile. Structural measures. Stabilizing slopes, bioengineering and protective structures. Stormwater drainage, maintenance of rivers and natural water systems. Non-structural measures. Extension of multi-hazard insurance for life and property. Risk-sensitive urban planning, changes to building bylaws. Multi-level safety planning in high-risk areas. Capacity development. Strengthen local bodies. Promote insurance and risk transfer. Climate change risk management. Support state-specific and local adaptation efforts. Conclusion. These recent events highlight the urgent need for disaster risk reduction in the Himalayas. We must move beyond reactive relief and build proactive resilience. Reduce risks through strong early warning systems, community-based adaptation, integration with sustainable development, technology, local knowledge and good governance. India's water management. A recent parliamentary report highlighted that despite increased technology and investment, we face many challenges. The first issue is flood forecasting. In our country, the Central Water Commission issues flood warnings at 340 locations, covering 22 states and 2 union territories. The good news is that there are plans to expand this to 375 locations by 2026. But climate change is making flood predictions difficult. Therefore, it is suggested that this system should be further modernized so that we can prepare better than before. For example, the floods in Assam this year affected millions of people, and better forecasting could have reduced the damage. The second point is the program of linking rivers. India has 30 river linking projects, so that water distribution is better. But the problem is that water is a state subject, and there is no consensus among the states. It is suggested that further studies should be conducted on the benefits of these projects, and work should be started quickly by making the states aware. This will help in dealing with both floods and droughts. Third, safety of dams. There are more than 6 OODECAMILLISECOND in India, but only 459 have an emergency plan. The Dam Safety Act of 2021 mandates that such a plan be developed for every dam every 5 years. It is suggested that the National Dam Safety Authority should implement it quickly in collaboration with the dam owners. Recently, there were reports of cracks in some dams in Gujarat, which tells us the importance of security. Fourth, rainwater harvesting and water conservation. Government programs like Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Jal Sanchay Jan Bhagidari have inspired people to save water and increase groundwater. Groundwater increased by 11.36 billion cubic meters in 2024, a major increase compared to 2017. It is suggested that states should be given special funds for this, so that more people collect rainwater. The last point is a united and proactive approach. A new national water policy is under consideration. Also, the Ministry of Jal Shakti and the Ministry of External Affairs should work together for trans-border flood management. Involving local MPs and MLAs in the Ganga cleaning mission can yield better results. Recently, the news of pollution in Ganga was again in the news, which tells us the need for united work. Global Outlook Council on Water Investments. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa recently launched a new organization at a summit in Cape Town on August 13, 2025. Its name is Global Outlook Council on Water Investments, IEGOCWI. This is a legacy project during the G20 presidency, which will become a big platform to raise money for water across the world. First of all, what is GOCWI? This is a key part of the Global Water Partnership's Global Transformation Agenda. GWP is an international organization in which many countries, companies, and people work together. Their aim is to manage water resources in a fair, sustainable, and efficient manner. The agenda aims to raise $15 billion for water security by 2030. GOCWI will strengthen this so that world leaders and investors pay attention to water. Now, its main function? This will create a high-level platform to generate political and financial momentum for water investment around the world, meaning it will track how much money is coming in. Financing avenues will be opened and reports will be given every year. The G20 will bring together the United Nations development banks and private companies. Pollution control boards. Recently, the Supreme Court delivered a major judgment named Delhi Pollution Control Committee vs. Lodhi Property Company Limited. Earlier, the Delhi High Court had said that only courts can impose compensation for environmental damage. But the Supreme Court overturned it and said that pollution control boards can also impose this compensation. This decision is a big step towards saving the environment. What is environmental compensation? This is a rule. This is called the polluter pays principle, meaning whoever harms the environment will have to compensate for it. For example, if a factory releases wastewater into a river, it will have to pay a fine or repair the damage. Highlights of the Supreme Court's decision. Legal rights. The Pollution Control Board has the power to impose compensation under Section 33A of the Water Act 1974 and Section 31A of the Air Act 1981. That is, the boards can now take action themselves without going to court. Polluter pays principle. The board cannot impose fines for every small mistake. Penalties will only be imposed if there is actual damage to the environment. In the Velo Citizens Welfare Forum case in 1996, the court had also said that the responsibility for the damage lies with the polluter. What should be done? The boards can decide whether to fine the polluter, repair the damages, or both. For example, if a company pollutes the air, so the board can order him to plant trees or do cleaning. UNDP Equator Initiative Award. A self-help group in Tirtha village of Dharwad district has earned fame across the world. This is the Bibi Fatima Women's Self-Help Group, which recently, on August 9, 2025, received the Equator Initiative Award from the United Nations Development Program. This award is considered like the Nobel Prize for Biodiversity Conservation. First of all, what is the UNDP Equator Initiative Award? It is given every 2 years under the Equator Initiative of UNDP. Its aim is to provide opportunities to tribal and local communities to prevent land erosion, conserve biodiversity, and improve livelihoods. The 2025 award was selected from over 700 nominations from 103 countries, and India is among the 10 winners. Each winner receives $10,000 and will participate in global events such as the COP30. Now, the story of Bibi Fatima, SHE. This group was started by 15 women in Tirtha village in 2018, and today it has expanded to 40 SHGs in Kungol and Shigaon tehsils. It is benefiting more than 5,000 farmers. Their work? Introduce millet-based mixed farming which is climate-resistant in rain-fed fields. Promoted animal husbandry, horticulture and popularized millet. They created community seed banks, set up solar-powered processing units, and empowered women entrepreneurs. AWAZ, a program of action. On August 5, 2025, in beautiful Awaza, Turkmenistan, the Third United Nations Conference began. Its name is LLDC, 3 Conference of Landlocked Developing Countries. This is a big platform for 32 such countries. Those who face challenges in business, development and life due to lack of access to the sea. First of all, what is APOA? APOAIE, Almaty Program of Action, which was unanimously adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in December 2024. This is a framework designed to address the difficulties faced by landlocked developing countries. First, understand why APOA is necessary. These countries do not have direct access to the sea. Therefore, they face many obstacles in the way of trade, transportation and development. APOA is a joint effort to strengthen them. Now let us look at its main points. The first step is to establish regional agricultural research centers. This will strengthen food security. This means improving agriculture through new research and better technology so that everyone can have access to enough food. The second major step is the launch of Infrastructure Investment Finance Facility. Its objective is to raise funds to build roads, bridges, railways, and energy projects. This investment will help these countries move forward in trade and development. The third important point is to create a new negotiating body under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This will promote trade and better tackle climate challenges, especially when floods and droughts are occurring frequently around the world. In such a situation, it will prove very useful. You can watch the video of the second part of this magazine, International Relations, on our channel. You will also find its link in our I button, description box or end screen. Sundarbans Tiger Reserve. Sundarban Tiger Reserve has become the second largest tiger reserve in India. Recently, on the 6th of August 2025, the National Board for Wildlife, headed by the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, approved the proposal of the West Bengal government. Under this, the area of Sundarban Tiger Reserve was increased. It is now second only to Nagarjuna Sagar Srisailam Tiger Reserve in Andhra Pradesh among the 58 tiger reserves. Earlier, it was its 7th position. The Sundarbans Tiger Reserve is in the Ganges Delta in West Bengal, where there is a unique mix of rivers, forests and mangroves. Royal Bengal tigers live here, who can swim and also eat fish. By increasing the area, tigers will get more space. What is the procedure for creating or changing a tiger reserve? Proposal. First, the state government sends a proposal to create or change the tiger reserve. Preliminary approval. The National Tiger Conservation Authority looks after it, and if deemed fit, calls for a detailed proposal under Section 38V of the Wildlife Act, 1972. Check and recommend. NTCA recommends the proposal to the state after thorough investigation. Notification. Then the state government declares that area as a tiger reserve. The process of change. If the boundaries of a tiger reserve have to be changed, as happened in the Sundarbans, so under Section 38W1 of the Wildlife Act, recommendation of NTCA and approval of NBWL is necessary. That means no change can be made without their permission. Matri Van Initiative. A massive 750-acre forest is growing in the Aravalli hills of Gurugram, which will clean the city air and give new life to nature. Recently, on the 2nd of August 2025, during the Van Mahotsav, its foundation stone was laid by Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav and Union Housing Minister Manohar Lal. This initiative is part of the One Tree in the Name of Mother program, which encourages planting trees while paying tribute to Mother Nature. First of all, what is Matri Van? It is a theme-based urban forest near Sakatpur village on the Gurugram-Faridabad road. Its aim is to save the ecology, make the city sustainable, and connect people with it. It will act as lungs for Delhi NCR, where there is trouble due to pollution and heat. These forests are more than just planting trees. Removal of invasive species, exotic plants that are harming native plants, clearing them so that the original forest returns. Planting native trees. Trees suitable for Aravalli, such as neem, babul or peepal, will be planted, which bind the soil and conserve water, restoring Aravalli-specific biodiversity, creating homes for animals, birds and insects. Additionally, nature trails, cycle tracks, yoga spaces and reservoirs will be built to prevent flooding and provide recreation. ETALIN Hydroelectric Project. A massive dam is being built in the Dibang Valley of Arunachal Pradesh, a biodiversity hotspot in the eastern Himalayas, that will generate clean electricity. Recently, on August 11, 2025, the Expert Appraisal Committee of the Union Environment Ministry recommended environmental clearance for this 3097 MW project. This is a run-of-the-river project which will generate electricity from the natural flow of the river without a large reservoir. But it is also controversial because it was earlier stopped in 2022-23 due to environmental concerns. First of all, what is the Italian project? It is located in the Dibang Valley, part of the eastern Himalayas, one of the most biodiverse areas in the world, home to rare plants, birds and animals. The project will involve the construction of concrete gravity dams on the Dry River and the Tango River. The Dry River joins the Tango to form the Dibang River near Etalin village. These dams will divert water into underground powerhouses and generate 12,460 million units of electricity annually. If you liked the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Volcanic eruptions in news. Two major volcanoes have recently made headlines in September 2025, Mount Lewotobi of Indonesia and Mount Kilauea of America. First up, Mount Lewotobi. It is composed of two stratovolcanoes on the Indonesian island of Flores, Lewotobi Laki-Laki and Lewotobi Perempuan, just 2 kilometers apart. They are named like husband and wife. It erupted several times in 2025. Now Mount Kilauea. It is located on the big island of the Hawaiian Islands, which is part of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Hawaii is the only island state in the US. No continental part. The eruptions are occurring in the Halemaumau crater, where it has erupted 32 times since December 2024. Drake Passage. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake struck the Drake Passage, a region of water located near Argentina and Chile. Where is Drake Passage? The Drake Passage lies between Cape Horn, the southernmost tip of South America, and the South Shetland Islands, the northernmost part of Antarctica. It is considered one of the most difficult sea routes on Earth. Naming. This sea route is named after Sir Francis Drake, the famous English navigator and circumnavigator of the world. Ocean current. Here the water flows from west to east, and it is part of the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This current is considered to be the largest and fastest ocean current in the world. Historical significance. Before the opening of the Panama Canal in 1914, the Drake Passage was a vital sea route for trade. Ships from all over the world used to travel through this route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The challenge of sailing. Drake Passage is still considered the most dangerous area of the ocean. Stormy winds, icy waves, and strong currents often blow here. This makes crossing the Sape Horn a real ordeal for ships and sailors. Now we will cover all these topics of science and technology. Space Program of India. We will talk about India's space program. Recently, there was a discussion about India's space program in the Lok Sabha, where it was told that India's space program will play a very important role in fulfilling the dream of Developed India 2047. First of all, let us understand a special incident. Shubhanshu Shukla of our country went to the International Space Station. He is the first Indian and second Indian overall to reach the ISS. Before him, Rakesh Sharma had gone in 1984. This incident made India a world brother India. That means it proves that it is a friend country of the entire world. Challenges facing India and solutions from space, agriculture and food security. Our farmers face the problem of weather uncertainty, low productivity and poor forecasting. The solution is the INSAT 3D and 3DR satellites, which provide weather information, and ResourceSat, which helps monitor crops and estimate production. Infrastructure. Delays and lack of planning are common problems in projects. The PM Gati Shakti scheme uses ISRO satellite images and special tools, due to which projects like roads, railways, ports are taken forward rapidly by connecting them. Disaster management. Disasters like floods, earthquakes, cyclones and forest fires occur frequently in India. ISRO's DMS program helps in real-time monitoring, warning and post-disaster assessment. Security and defense. Border surveillance problems and protection from new space threats are essential. GS-87 and RIS-80 satellites strengthen communication and surveillance. Also, Mission Shakti proved India's strength by showcasing anti-satellite capability. Strategic autonomy. India depended on America's GPS for a long time. Now we get our own navigation service from NAVIC. Climate change and the environment. Deforestation, melting glaciers and warming oceans are major challenges. The NISAR mission will study land, glaciers, ecosystems and oceans. Healthcare. There is a shortage of hospitals and doctors in remote areas. ISRO's telemedicine project connects patients with specialist doctors through satellite communication. Education. There is a difference in education between city and village. EduSet provides distance education and educational broadcasting to children and youth. Transparency and accountability. Corruption and leaks are a big problem in welfare schemes. Geotagging of MGNREGA assets ensures transparency and monitoring. Water management. Groundwater depletion and poor watershed planning are serious challenges. Bhuvan's Srishti Geoportal monitors water management projects. Now let us see what benefits we get from the space program and how it makes India a world friend. Global cooperation. India and America jointly created the NISAR mission. This is called the scientific handshake because it is a symbol of cooperation and standards for the entire world. Regional leadership. In 2017, India launched the GS-89 satellite for South Asian countries. Apart from this, our neighboring countries can also use the Indian navigation service named NAVIC, sharing data and technology. All the data of our Chandrayaan-3 is available to the scientists. It can be used by any researcher. Capacity building. India has launched the UNDP program, in which foreign students are given training to make nanosatellites. Low cost and reliability. Our Mangalyaan mission was the cheapest interplanetary mission in the world. India has so far launched more than 400 satellites for 34 countries. Responsible space use. India has set a target to make all missions debris-free by 2030. This will keep space safe in the future. Human cooperation. India is part of the international rescue program called COSPASSARSAT, which works to save people's lives in emergency situations with the help of satellites. Now let's come to the policies. The India Space Policy 2023 allows private companies to operate across the entire space sector. Under the new FDI policy, 100% foreign investment is allowed, due to which more than 300 space startups are growing rapidly. An organization named NSIL commercially promotes ISRO's products and services. InSpace is a single window that helps private companies with everything from launching to data. The conclusion is that India's space program is not just about science and technology, but it is a path towards national development, global cooperation, and a sustainable future. Our aim is to build our own Indian space station by 2035 and send humans to the moon by 2040. That means India's space journey will play an important role in making us a developed India by 2047. If you liked the video, then like it now. India's first commercial Earth observation satellite constellation. On August 12, 2025, the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre announced that a consortium led by Pixel Space India will build India's first commercial Earth observation satellite system. This shows the strength and self-reliance of private companies in India's space sector. What is Pixel Space India Consortium? The consortium is led by Bengaluru-based company Pixel Space India, which includes 3 other companies: Peersight Space, specializing in radar-based data and maritime surveillance; Satcher Analytics India, specializes in geospatial data and AI-based analysis; Dhruva Space, provides satellite systems and ground station solutions. The consortium will invest over ₹200 crore over the next 5 years and has also rejected government funding of 350 crore rupees. That is, it is a zero-cost bid. What is Earth Observation Satellite System? EOSS is a constellation of 12 state-of-the-art satellites, which will be launched in the next 5 years. These satellites will be equipped with the following sensors: panchromatic, high-resolution black and white images; multispectral, images of different colors, which help in identifying different things; hyperspectral, captures data in 135+ bands, which gives 50 times more information than normal satellites; microwave synthetic aperture radar, can take images even at night or in bad weather. These satellites will be built entirely in India, launched by Indian rockets, and controlled from Indian ground stations. Uses of EOSS. These satellites will provide analysis-ready data and value-added services, which will help in the following areas: climate change monitoring, tracking pollution, global warming and biodiversity status; disaster management, rapid information delivery during floods, earthquakes or storms; agriculture, precision farming, crop health and water quality monitoring; national security, border surveillance and military intelligence; urban planning and infrastructure, planning of cities and monitoring of road rail networks; marine surveillance, monitoring illegal fishing and marine pollution. What are Earth observation satellites? These satellites, also known as remote sensing satellites, collect information about Earth's movements. This information can be about both natural and man-made systems. These satellites monitor the condition of the Earth's surface, soil, water, and atmosphere. Importance of private participation in India's space sector. The participation of private companies is taking India's space sector to new heights. Let us understand its major advantages. Development of space economy. India's space economy is currently worth $8.4 billion, but the target is to take it to $44 billion by 2033, which includes exports worth $11 billion. This will increase India's share in the global space market to 7 to 8%. Private companies are bringing in investments, due to which India is becoming competitive at the global level. Innovation and progress. Private companies are innovating satellites, launch vehicles, and space-based services. Example: Pixel Space launched India's first private satellite constellation, Firefly, which provides high-resolution hyperspectral imaging, increasing the productivity of ISRO. Private companies are handling small satellites and commercial projects. This allows ISRO to focus on larger and longer duration missions. This strengthens the dream of self-reliant India, holding back jobs and talent. The private space sector is creating high-skilled jobs, due to which youth are getting opportunities for research and development in India itself. Due to this, brain drain is reducing. Strategic self-reliance. Private participation will reduce India's dependence on foreign satellite data and technology. It promotes data sovereignty, especially for national security. Global leadership. There are 300+ space startups in India, which is giving India a strong position in the global space economy. Currently, India's share in the global space market is only 2%, but private participation will enhance it. Government initiatives. The Government of India is taking several steps to promote private participation in space. The Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre is an autonomous agency which helps private companies in space activities. It approves projects and provides technical assistance. Indian Space Policy 2023. This policy clarifies the rules for private companies and provides policy stability. Venture Capital Fund. The government has approved a fund of 1,000 crore rupees for space startups, which will support the entire supply chain. Technology transfer. In-space transfers 10 cutting-edge ISRO technologies to 6 Indian companies, such as advanced inertial sensors and geospatial models for crop yield estimation. Liberalized FDI policy. 100% foreign direct investment has been allowed in the space sector. This will increase international investment, technology transfer and cooperation. Challenges. Despite private participation, there are some challenges. Lack of national space legislation. India currently does not have a comprehensive space law. This makes it difficult to enforce policies and ensure compliance. The dual-use nature of space technologies raises issues such as project delays, protection of intellectual property, and the need for an independent appellate system. Operational challenges. In the absence of a space law, there is delay and confusion in getting clearances from multiple ministries. Technical and financial constraints. The Indian private sector has limited technical and financial capabilities, due to which dependence on imports increases. Global demand. 80% of India's space economy comes from the downstream sector, while the upstream sector is still in its initial stages. ISRO inaugurates HOPE Analog Mission in Sokar Valley, Ladakh. Now we will talk about ISRO's HOPE Analog Mission, which has been launched in Sokar Valley of Ladakh. First of all, let us understand what HOPE is. Its full name is Himalayan Outpost for Planetary Exploration. This is a special kind of station. It has two parts. One is the habitat module where people can live, and the other is the utility module in which equipment and support systems are kept. Both have been connected in such a way that the work can be done very easily. The purpose of this station is to create such conditions on Earth itself, like on the Moon or Mars. This will help us prepare for future interplanetary travel and missions. Now, let us know under whose leadership the HOPE mission is running. The mission is being conducted by ISRO's Human Space Flight Center and is also being participated by several industries and leading institutions of India. What are its objectives? The first objective is to replicate the environment like Moon and Mars on Earth itself. Secondly, to see how a person can survive in difficult conditions and what impact it will have on his health. Third, to test the equipment and health safety measures used in space. There will also be many scientific studies in this mission, like genetic and physiological study of human body. Psychological research, that is, what effect does a difficult environment have on the mind? Techniques for collecting samples and analyzing microorganisms. Health monitoring and testing of protocols for working on planetary surfaces. Now the question arises, why Sokar Valley was chosen? The reason for this is that the conditions there are like those on Mars. There's a lot of intense UV radiation there. The atmospheric pressure is very low. The temperature remains extremely cold. And saline permafrost is found in the ground there. This means that this place is perfect for both technology testing and life science research. However, this is not happening only in India. Such analog missions are being run all over the world. For example, America's Mars Desert Research Station, Canada's Flashline Mars Arctic Station and Russia's BIOS-3. In this way, we can say that HOPE mission is a big step for India, which will help us prepare for long-term human missions into space in the future. ISRO's heaviest rocket lunar module launch vehicle to be ready by 2035. Now we will learn about an upcoming great project of ISRO, LMLVIE, Lunar Module Launch Vehicle. This will be ISRO's heaviest and most powerful rocket till date and will be ready by 2035. First of all, let us understand what are the special features of LMLV. This will be a better and advanced version of NGLVIE, Next Generation Launch Vehicle. It will be huge in size, almost as tall as a 40-story building. Its main objective is to send a mission to the Moon, especially India's first manned lunar mission, which is planned to be completed by 2040. Its capabilities are also amazing. It can carry 80 tons of payload into low Earth orbit and can deliver about 27 tons of weight directly to the Moon. It will have 3 stages. The first 2 stages will use liquid propellant, and the third stage will use cryogenic propellant. To understand LMLV better, we also need to know about other rockets of ISRO. PSLV, yani Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. This is ISRO's most reliable rocket. It is a third-generation rocket and launches satellites into Sun-synchronous polar orbit, LEO, and GTO. Through this, missions like Chandrayaan-1 and Mars Orbiter mission were completed. GSLV, yani Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is a 4th-generation 3-stage rocket. Mainly communication satellites are sent through this. It can carry up to 2 tons of payload into GTO. LV-M3. It is a heavy lift rocket. It can send satellites weighing around 4 tons into GTO or payloads of up to 10 tons into LEO. The same rocket was used for Chandrayaan-2 and Chandrayaan-3 missions. In the coming time, it will also be used for India's own space station, i.e. Bharatiya Antariksh Station. SSLV, yani Small Satellite Launch Vehicle. This is a small but useful rocket. It is designed to launch small satellites weighing 10 to 500 kilograms into space, such as mini, micro, and nano satellites. EUAI, Code of Practice on General Purpose. Recently, 26 big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and IBM have signed this code. Now the question arises, what is this code and why is it important? First of all, let us understand. This code is voluntary. That means it is not mandatory for companies to follow it. But the companies that sign it, they will also make it easier to implement the upcoming EUAI Act and reduce legal uncertainty. This code has 3 main chapters. Transparency. That is how AI is working. This should be clearly known to users. Copyright. Protecting rights over data and content used by AI. Safety and security. The use of AI should be safe and should not have any negative impact on society. Now let us know about the EUAI Act. This is the world's first comprehensive AI law. The law adopts a risk-based approach. This means that rules will apply to every AI system according to its risk level. This law will establish responsibility for companies that create AI and will also impact businesses that use generative AI. Just like GDPR, this law could become a global standard. Any company that fails to comply with this law will face severe penalties, fines of up to 7% of the company's global revenue. Some concerns have also been raised here. Companies say the code is sometimes overly strict and goes beyond the upcoming AI Act. This could slow down the development of AI in Europe, because complying with the rules will become complex and expensive. Overall, this code and the upcoming EUAI Act will ensure that artificial intelligence is used in the interest of humanity and that it helps rather than harms. Brain-computer interface. Recently, Stanford scientists have created a special BCI, which is password protected. That means no one else can read your mind unless you provide a mental password. This keeps your privacy safe. What is a brain-computer interface? BCI is a technology that connects your brain directly to a device. It reads your brain signals and converts them into commands. That means you neither need to move your hands nor speak. Just think, and the work will be done. How does this work? Your brain activity is read. This involves using either a head-worn device or a small implant in the brain. These signals are then processed and commands are sent to the device. For example, you think light the lamp and the lamp lights up. Where can BCI be used? BCI can be used in many areas. Let's look at some examples. In medical terms, if someone is paralyzed or cannot speak, such as ALS or stroke patients, BCI can help them. They can move a wheelchair or talk just by thinking. In mental health, this technique can help reduce stress or depression by understanding the state of the mind. Think about gaming and industry, whether you are playing a game by just thinking or running machines in a factory. How fun would that be? Brain enhancements like BCIs can further improve memory, attention, and decision-making. But there are some concerns too. As exciting as BCI is, there are also some concerns. Cybersecurity. What if a hacker steals your brain signals? This is called brain tapping. This may put your personal thinking at risk. Privacy. Your brain data is very sensitive. It is important to keep it safe. Mental freedom. If someone tries to control your mind with this technique, so this can be a threat to your freedom of thought. Health. The effects of long-term BCI use are not yet fully understood. Terms and costs. There are no strict rules for this yet. And this technology is also very expensive, due to which not everyone can use it. What to do in the future? Certain steps must be taken to make BCIs safe and useful. Strict rules. Special laws will have to be made for data privacy so that people's trust remains intact. Better security. BCI requires Stanford's technology and other security measures, such as passwords. Neuro rights. We must establish new rights to protect our freedom of mind and privacy. Annual FASTAG passes. FASTag Annual Pass has been launched on the 15th of August, 2025. FASTag Annual Pass is a special facility. This is especially for private vehicles, which are not commercial. You can buy it for just 3,000 rupees. This pass is valid for 1 year or 200 toll plaza crossings, whichever is earlier. You will not need to recharge FASTag again and again. Pay once and travel non-stop on national highways and expressways throughout the year. This pass is valid only at toll plazas on national highways and expressways managed by NHAI and the ministry. This will not work on state highways or local toll plazas. What is FASTag? FASTag is a small device which is installed on the windshield of your vehicle. It uses radio frequency identification technology. How does RFID work? It consists of a tag and a reader. The tag is attached to your vehicle, which talks to the reader at the toll plaza through radio waves. It works for short distances. When you pass through a toll plaza, so FASTag automatically deducts the toll amount from your bank account without any interruption. It is jointly managed by the National Payments Corporation of India and the National Highway Authority of India. If you do not have FASTag, so you may have to pay double the toll. Maharashtra inks deal with IIT Madras startup to build Hyperloop. The Maharashtra government recently signed an agreement with 2TR Hyperloop Private Limited, a startup from IIT Madras, under which a Hyperloop system will be built connecting Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust of Navi Mumbai and Vadhavan Port of Palghar district. What is Hyperloop? Hyperloop is a super-fast transportation system, which was conceived by Elon Musk in 2013. They made it open source, meaning people from all over the world can work on this technology. It is a magnetic levitation system, in which pods move at very high speed inside a special tube. How does Hyperloop work? The Hyperloop system is very exciting. Let us understand its main parts. It is a steel tube with very low air pressure. This prevents the pods from facing air resistance. The pods are magnetically propelled into the air, due to which friction is reduced. Linear induction motor. This motor propels the pods forward quickly, without any noise. The compressor manages the air, and air-bearing suspension keeps the pods stable. Advantages of Hyperloop. Super fast speed. It can move goods and people from one place to another very fast. For example, if the 150 kilometers distance from Mumbai to Pune is covered by Hyperloop, it can be done in just 25 minutes. Good for the environment. It runs on electricity and can reduce carbon emissions. Less noise. It is not as noisy as conventional trains. Changes in logistics. JNPT is India's largest container port, handling 55% of the country's container cargo. But road and rail congestion causes freight delays. Hyperloop can do it in minutes. Vadhavan Port. This new port is being built in Palghar, which will handle 250 million tons of cargo every year. Hyperloop could make it the most modern port in Asia. If you liked the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Shresth Initiative. On August 12, 2025, Health Secretary Ms. Punya Salila Srivastava virtually launched Shresth. It is called Shresth IE State Health Regulatory Excellence Index. It has been launched by the Ministry of Health, Government of India, so that the safety and quality of medicines can be improved across the country. What is Shresth? It has been proposed by the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Objective. This index works to improve and compare the drug regulatory systems of all states and union territories. Its goal is to ensure that every citizen has access to safe, effective and high-quality medicines. India is called the pharmacy of the world because we supply cheap and good medicines all over the world. Shresth ensures that this reputation of India is maintained. How does Shresth work? Shresth is a virtual gap assessment tool. That is, it helps the states to assess their current situation and rectify the shortcomings. It is built around 5 main themes. Human resources. Do states have adequate and trained staff for the drug regulatory system? Infrastructure. Are there good labs and technology available for drug testing? Licensing activities. How transparent and fast is the licensing process for drugs and medical devices? Surveillance activities. Are there regular checks to detect counterfeit or substandard medicines? Responsiveness. Are people's complaints resolved quickly? In this video, we will cover all these topics of culture. Goswami Tulsidas. His 500th birth anniversary was recently celebrated in Chitrakoot. Therefore, it is important to understand why they are so special. Firstly, Tulsidas ji was born in Rajapur village of Banda district of Uttar Pradesh. उनका असली नाम था राम बोला दुबे. His father's name was Atmaram and mother's name was Hulsi. His guru was Sri Narhari Das ji, from whom he learned a lot. Now let's talk about his contribution. Tulsidas wrote Ramcharitmanas on the banks of the river Ganga at Asi Ghat in Varanasi. This book is in Avadhi language, and it has been included in UNESCO's Memory of the World Register. It tells the story of Lord Rama in a simple and devotional manner. Apart from this, he wrote works like Vinay Patrika and Kavitavali in Braj language. His other works like Geetavali, Dohavali, Janki Mangal, Parvati Mangal, and Hanuman Chalisa are also very famous. Tulsidas ji was a great saint of the Bhakti movement. He belonged to the Ramanandi sect, and his devotion towards Lord Rama was amazing. They believed in Saguna Bhakti, that is, worshipping God with form and qualities like Rama or Vishnu. But he also believed that Nirguna Bhakti, i.e., worship of God without form, and Saguna Bhakti are complementary to each other. He promoted these languages by using Avadhi and Braj Bhasha. Also, he established the famous Sankatmochan Hanuman temple in Varanasi. Ramlila, a theatrical presentation of the Ramayana, is based on Tulsidas' Ramcharitmanas. It was started by his disciples after his death. Some historians say that his disciple Megha Bhagat started Ramlila in 1625. While some believe that it started in Ramnagar between 1200 to 1500 AD, Ramlila has also been included in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage list. Now let us talk about his teachings. Tulsidas ji talked about 9 types of devotion, in which 9 types of devotion were described, like the company of saints, interest in the divine acts of God, and service to the Guru. He believed in social equality. He said that for Lord Ram, devotion is important, not caste or lineage. He said, no one will ask your caste. If you worship God, you belong to him. He considered Shiva and Rama to be one, due to which Shaiva and Vaishnava devotion got combined. He also adopted the Advaita philosophy, in which God is considered formless and without qualities. Also, regarding the tax system, he said that just as the sun takes water from the earth and returns it in the form of rain by forming clouds, similarly the tax system should also be for the welfare of the people. In conclusion, Tulsidas' life and his works are a symbol of devotion, humility, and social unity. His message was that love for God transcends all discrimination. His teachings and Ramcharitmanas continue to inspire millions even today. If you like the video, then like it now. 100 years of Kakori train action. The 100th anniversary of the Kakori train action is being celebrated in 2025. This incident took place on the 9th of August 1925 in Kakori village near Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. It was carried out by 10 revolutionaries of the Hindustan Republican Association. Their aim was to loot the treasury money from the British government train, which was going from Shahjahanpur to Lucknow. This money was to be deposited in the British treasury. The main leaders of this action were Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan, Chandrasekhar Azad, Thakur Roshan Singh and Rajendra Lahiri. Chandrasekhar Azad remained active in revolutionary activities even later, and was martyred in a police encounter in Alfred Park, Allahabad in 1931. What happened that day? The revolutionaries stopped the 8-down train near Kakori station. Rajendra Lahiri, who was already on the train, pulled the emergency chain. The remaining revolutionaries then overpowered the guards and looted the treasure bags, in which there was about 4 rupees, 600. He believed that this money belonged to Indians, which was taken by the British government as tax. What happened next? The British government was furious and immediately launched a massive search. More than 40 people were arrested in a month, of which there were 28 active members of HRA. In the Kakori conspiracy case, he was charged with robbery, conspiracy, murder, and waging war against the British Raj. Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan, Rajendra Lahiri, and Thakur Roshan Singh were sentenced to death. Bismil was hanged in Gorakhpur jail, Ashfaqullah in Faizabad, Lahiri in Gonda, and Roshan Singh in Nani jail in 1927. The revolutionaries did not give up even in jail. He went on a hunger strike and demanded political prisoner status. His bravery shook the entire nation. What impact did this incident have on the freedom struggle? The Kakori action inspired new revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru. It showed Hindu-Muslim unity, as Bismil and Ashfaqullah worked together to do this. The hearing of this case exposed British atrocities and further strengthened the feeling of independence among the people. It also showed that independence required not only non-violent means but also direct action. Learn about HRA. The HRA was founded in 1924 by Ram Prasad Bismil, Sachindranath Sanyal, and Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee. His aim was an India which was equal for all and where there was no exploitation. He issued a manifesto called Revolutionary in 1925, criticizing Gandhi's non-violent methods and calling for armed revolution. In 1928, the HRA was renamed the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. It was run by Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. It adopted socialist ideas and intensified the struggle for independence. In conclusion, the Kakori train action was a major turning point in India's freedom struggle. It challenged the British rule and ignited the fire of revolution among the youth. Ram Prasad Bismil wrote in his autobiography, "I believe that I will be born again and will completely liberate the world." His martyrdom inspires us even today. Recently, on the 9th of August 2025, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath celebrated its 100th anniversary at Kakori railway station. There is a museum there, where documents and treasure boxes related to this incident are displayed. You can watch all the videos from this month's magazine in this playlist. Gallantry Awards. Recently, on the eve of 79th Independence Day, the President approved 127 Gallantry Awards and 40 Distinguished Service Awards. What are Gallantry Awards? These awards are given to those who show exceptional bravery, sacrifice or courage in times of war or peace. These are received by our soldiers, policemen, and sometimes even ordinary citizens, those who risk their lives to protect the country. Who gives these awards? The President, who is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces, presents these awards. The Ministry of Defence seeks recommendations from the Armed Forces and the Ministry of Home Affairs twice every year. These awards are announced on Republic Day and Independence Day. History of these awards. Param Veer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra and Veer Chakra. These were started on the 26th of January 1950, but these are considered effective from the 15th of August 1947. Ashoka Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. These were introduced in 1952, formerly known as Ashoka Chakra Class 1, 2 and 3. They were given their present names in January 1967. These awards are for bravery in both war and peacetime. Benefits of rewards. These awards come with monthly allowance, travel concessions and other facilities. This is a way to honor the sacrifice and dedication of our heroes. Types of Gallantry Awards. There are two types of Gallantry Awards, wartime and peacetime. Wartime Gallantry Award. These awards are given for displaying exceptional courage in the face of the enemy, whether on land, sea or air. These are Param Veer Chakra. It is India's highest military decoration, similar to the British Victoria Cross or the American Medal of Honor. It is awarded for exceptional bravery or sacrifice in battle. Mahavir Chakra. This is the second highest military honor, which is given for great courage in war. Veer Chakra. This is the third highest military honor, which is given for courageous acts on the battlefield. Who can take it? These awards can be given to the Navy, Army, Air Force, Reserve Force, Territorial Force, medical and nursing staff and civilians working under their direction. Peacetime Gallantry Award. These awards are given for courage, valor or self-sacrifice away from the battlefield. These are Ashoka Chakra. It is the highest peacetime gallantry award, equivalent to the Param Veer Chakra. Kirti Chakra. It is the second highest peacetime award, equivalent to the Mahavir Chakra. Shaurya Chakra. It is the third highest peacetime award, equivalent to the Veer Chakra. Who can take it? These awards can also be given to the armed forces, reserve and territorial forces, nursing services, police, central paramilitary forces, railway protection force, and common citizens. Distinguished Service Award. These awards are given for exceptional service other than bravery. These include Param Vishisht Seva Medal for most exceptional service, Ati Vishisht Seva Medal for exceptional service, Distinguished Service Medal for service of a high order, Best Yuddha Seva Medal for the most exceptional service in war or conflict, Uttam Yuddha Seva Medal for exceptional service in war or conflict, Yuddha Seva Medal for service of a high order in war or conflict, Army, Navy, Air Force Medal. This is awarded for both acts of bravery and devotion to duty. If you like the video, then you can share this video with your friends who are preparing for IAS. Commonwealth Games. On the 27th of August 2025, the Union Cabinet approved India's bid to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games in Ahmedabad. The Indian Olympic Association had also approved it. Ahmedabad has been chosen as the host city because there are world-class stadiums like the Narendra Modi Stadium and excellent training facilities. The stadium has hosted the 2023 Cricket World Cup final. What are the Commonwealth Games? The Commonwealth Games is an international multi-sport event which takes place every 4 years between Commonwealth countries. It includes many sports like athletics, swimming, badminton, wrestling, etc. It first occurred in 1930 in Hamilton, Canada. India hosted the 19th Commonwealth Games in New Delhi in 2010, where India won 101 medals, including 38 gold. previously known as the British Empire Games, the British and Commonwealth Games, and the British Commonwealth Games. What is the Commonwealth? The Commonwealth is a group of 56 countries spread across Africa, Asia, Europe, the Americas, and the Pacific. It began in 1926, when Britain and its dominions agreed that they were equal members of the British Empire. But Britain will not be their ruler. It was called the British Commonwealth of Nations, London Declaration. It stated that republics and other countries could also be part of the Commonwealth. Gabon and Togo joined the Commonwealth as new members in 2022. Morgan Organization, Board of Governors. High Commissioners of all member countries joined this board. Commonwealth Secretariat. Established in London in 1965, it oversees the work of the Commonwealth. Beginning of IOA. The Indian Olympic Association was established in 1927. Its first president was Sir Dorabji Tata, and Secretary General was Dr. A.G. Noran. What is IOA? It is a non-profit organization functioning under the Societies Registration Act of 1860. It is recognized by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. Works of IOA. It manages the Olympic movement and the Commonwealth Games in India. It is part of the International Olympic Committee, the Commonwealth Games Federation, the Olympic Council of Asia, and the Association of National Olympic Committees. The IOA represents athletes and teams participating in the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, etc. Operation of IOA. It is run by an executive council consisting of 32 members, which is headed by the president. If possible, please like the video and leave a nice comment. This encourages us to make good videos. Vitthalbhai Patel. Recently, on the 5th of September 2025, the All India Speakers Conference commemorated the completion of 100 years of Vitthalbhai Patel, becoming the first elected Indian Speaker of the Central Legislative Assembly. Who was Vitthalbhai Patel? He was born in 1873 in Nadiad, Gujarat. He was the elder brother of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and was a renowned political leader, lawyer, and social reformer. He died in 1933. His contributions. Vitthalbhai ji made a major contribution to social and political reforms for India's independence. He became a member of the Bombay Legislative Council. In 1918, he was elected to the Imperial Legislative Council. In 1922, he founded the Swaraj Party with Motilal Nehru and Chittaranjan Das, which was important in the freedom struggle. He also served as the mayor of the Bombay Municipal Corporation from 1923 to 1925. Most importantly, in August 1925, he became the first elected Indian Speaker of the Central Legislative Assembly, which was a matter of pride for Indians. National Film Awards 2023. Recently, these awards were announced on the 1st of August 2025, which are very special for Indian cinema. What is National Film Award? It was started by the Government of India in 1954. These awards are given every year by the Honorable President. These include Feature Film, Non-Feature Film, Best Writing on Cinema, and Dada Saheb Phalke Award. Dada Saheb Phalke Award, this is the highest award in Indian cinema, given for outstanding contribution to the development of cinema. It was started in 1969 in honor of Dada Saheb Phalke, who made India's first full-length film Raja Harishchandra in 1913. The award carries a Golden Lotus Medal, a shawl, and a cash prize of 10 lakh rupees. Other categories. It includes several categories like Best Feature Film, Best Direction, Best Actor and Actress, Best Cinematography, Best Screenplay, and Best Music Direction. 9. Ethics. Trust in public institutions. Recently, some public institutions in India, such as the Election Commission, Enforcement Directorate, and Central Bureau of Investigation, have been accused of political misuse. Due to this, people's trust in these institutions is decreasing. According to the United Nations World Social Report 2025, trust in institutions has declined worldwide since the beginning of the 21st century. Surveys from 1995 to 2022 show that more than half the world's population has little or no trust in their government. What is trust? According to the OECD, trust is a person's belief that another person or organization will act positively and in a predictable manner. Trust is a vital part of the social contract. This strengthens the relationship between the government and the people. To understand this, we need to look deeply into the nature of trust, its causes and consequences. What are the types of trust? Horizontal trust. This is the trust that the people of the community have in each other. For example, trusting your neighbor that he will help you. Vertical trust. This reflects the trust of community members in the institutions that govern them, such as the government, judiciary, or police. Social trust. This is general trust, not for any specific person or purpose, but trust in strangers. This reflects long-term optimism. Political trust. These are trust in institutions and their representatives. Why is trust in public institutions important? Every stakeholder benefits from this. Let's see who and how. Citizen. Good public services, like school, hospital, and electricity water facilities. Public participation increases, due to which democracy becomes stronger. People are happy when they have trust. Their lives improve and the government remains stable. Government agencies and officials. Policies are easy to formulate and implement. The legitimacy of the government remains intact, and people feel inclined to obey the law. Governance runs smoothly without much pressure. Civil society and media. Freedom of expression is available. It is easy to advocate for people's rights. Private sector. The rules and regulations remain clear and reliable. Contracts are easier to enforce, and corruption is reduced. The business environment improves, and entrepreneurship is encouraged. Why is trust in public institutions declining? Poor performance of administrative structures. Sometimes government services such as hospitals, schools, or electricity and water facilities do not function properly. Officials ignore public complaints or misuse their authority. Example, the Second Administrative Reforms Committee reported that poor service and lack of accountability erodes trust. Economic insecurity. The main function of the government is to provide economic security to the people, which is the basis of the social contract. Poor and less educated people, who are economically insecure, trust institutions less. The UNDP report says that financially secure people trust institutions more. Political boycott. People living on the margins of society, such as the poor or minorities, are unable to convey their views to the government. This leaves them unable to demand better services or policies and erodes their trust. Scams and corruption. When corruption or scams are exposed in institutions, so people think that they are not working in the interest of the public. Examples, in recent years, some government agencies have been accused of corruption, due to which trust was broken. Misinformation and social media. The failures of institutions are exaggerated on social media. People's opinions are influenced by spreading misinformation, like questioning the legitimacy of elections. Weak judicial system. If the justice system is slow or inefficient, so the rule of law is weakened. Due to this, people's complaints are not resolved and trust further decreases. Key factors in increasing trust in public institutions. Two key things are essential to building trust: competence and value. Let us understand these. Competencies. Reliability. The government should be prepared to protect the lives and property of the people in an emergency. Personal information provided to government offices should be used only for legitimate purposes. People should be satisfied with administrative services, such as making ration cards or passports. Responsiveness. Services should be improved based on people's complaints. Institutions should adopt new and better methods. The government should use the most accurate information when taking decisions. Values. Transparency. Information about government services should be easily available. Citizens should be involved in policy making. The government should clearly explain the impact of the reforms. Integrity. There should be accountability between the parliament, the judiciary, and the executive. Fairness. Government employees should treat everyone, regardless of their background, equally. Government services and benefits should be distributed fairly. The needs of different regions and groups should be represented in parliament. Measures to increase trust in public institutions. Increasing citizen participation. Involve people in policy making, like through social audit. This makes people feel part of the government and increases trust. Consistent implementation and results. Improve everyday services, like transferring money directly into accounts through direct benefit transfer. Better experience increases people's trust in institutions. Promote transparency and dialogue. Make the data used for policies public and verifiable, like through government dashboard. If people understand what the government is doing, trust will increase. Ensuring ethical governance. Fairness and attention to poor and marginalized groups. Ethical behavior strengthens trust. Independent anti-corruption mechanism. Under the Lokpal and Lokayuktas Act 2013, Lokpal has been created at the center and Lokayuktas in the states. They deal with complaints of corruption, which increases trust. Strengthening the institutional framework. Cooperation and balance between parliament, the executive, and the independent judiciary is essential. This increases the credibility of the institutions. Countering misinformation and the use of technology. The government must respond to misinformation, like by creating a fact-checking unit. The right use of technology promotes democratic discussion. Conclusion. Trust is essential for any society. Trust in government and institutions is the foundation of democracy. If trust diminishes, it is considered a crisis of democracy which can have serious consequences. Case study and investigation of ethical competence. You are an honest IAS officer and have been appointed the municipal commissioner of a rapidly urbanizing city. There is inequality and poor infrastructure here. Your predecessor was removed on corruption charges. Therefore, people's trust in the municipal corporation is less than before. A few days after your appointment, a newly constructed flyover collapses in heavy rain. This accident happens in a poor area, in which people get injured, and houses and shops get damaged. This increases public anger and distrust in institutions. Misinformation is spreading on social media, due to which the situation is worsening further. Even honest employees are discouraged, due to which relief work is slowing down. The Chief Secretary of the state has asked you to act with sensitivity and firmness, so that relief work can be done and confidence can be restored. So now you can tell us the answers to these questions in the comment box. Ethics of stray dog management. Recently, on August 22, 2025, the Supreme Court changed one of its old orders, in which all the stray dogs of Delhi NCR were asked to be kept in shelters. Now the court has ruled that after deworming and vaccination, they should be released back into the same area. This will maintain a balance between public safety and animal protection. What is the problem? In 2024, according to the National Center for Disease Control, more than 37 lakh dog bite cases were reported in India. The World Health Organization says that India accounts for 1/3 of the world's rabies deaths. These figures are scary, especially for children and the elderly. But the Supreme Court's new decision shows that we must strike a balance between animal safety and public safety. What are the main stakeholders and their interests? Different people are involved in every issue. Let us see in a table who they are and what their interests are. Residents. Under Article 51 AG of the Indian Constitution, all citizens have a duty to show compassion towards living beings. But people are afraid of aggressive behavior of dogs and incidents of biting. This causes safety risks, property damage, and health problems. Children, the elderly, and the frail are at greater risk because they cannot understand or escape the danger. Pet owners. Sometimes they themselves create problems because pet dogs are left on the streets. But they can also provide solutions by helping with proper fostering and stray dog management programs. Government and its agencies. Vaccination, sterilization, and redressal of complaints. The municipal corporation has to manage stray dogs under Articles 243(w) and 246 of the Constitution. Also, strict enforcement of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. NCDC is working under the Ministry of Health to eliminate rabies by 2030. The National Action Plan for Dog-Mediated Rabies Elimination by 2030 defines the role of each ministry, such as dog vaccination, surveillance and awareness. Supreme Court. Balancing public health and animal rights. For example, in a recent order, the court said that it is necessary to release vaccinated dogs. Animal welfare organizations. Emphasis on the rights of stray dogs, such as community-based care, sterilization, vaccination and feeding programs. Opposition to killing. The Animal Welfare Board of India has released the revised Animal Birth Control Module for management of street dogs, which focuses on eliminating rabies and reducing human-dog conflict. Conflicting ethical values in the management of stray dogs. Compassion versus public safety. Feeding stray dogs shows kindness, but it can increase their population and territorial aggression. Example, people feed dogs, but these dogs may become more aggressive in the area. Animal rights versus human rights. Every living being has the right to live free from pain and suffering. The Supreme Court extended Article 21 to animals in the 2014 Jallikattu case. But humans also have the right to be safe, have their property protected, and live a life free from fear. These two rights conflict with each other. Kant's deontology versus utilitarianism. Kant's principle states that every being should be respected, not merely used as a means. Forcibly removing or abandoning dogs is a violation of their dignity. Utilitarianism says that sacrificing a few dogs for the convenience of many is okay. These two ideas clash. The non-malification dilemma. The medical principle of do no harm applies to both humans and animals. But current methods harm animals either through cruelty or humans through inadequate management. Rights-duties paradox. Animals do not have legal duties, but because of their sensitivity and frailty, they should have rights, like babies or disabled people. These rights are determined not by their utility, but by their sensitivity. Measures for the ethical management of stray dogs. Principle of beneficence. Active and well-designed interventions are needed for both humans and animals. Animal Birth Control Rules 2023. Population control and rabies prevention through sterilization and vaccination. Example, the Netherlands encouraged adoption from shelters by imposing higher taxes on pet shops. Proportionality and graduated response. Conduct an evidence-based assessment of the local situation. rather than applying a uniform policy. Try the least harmful methods first, like vaccination and sterilization. Example: following rabies cases in Delhi NCR, the Supreme Court ordered the construction of shelters, professional handling and sterilization of dogs. Make regular evaluations and changes based on results. Virtue ethics, to foster qualities such as kindness, responsibility and intelligence. Educate the community and adopt sustainable practices, like local people should come together and take care of the dogs. Effective implementation of the National Rabies Control Program, phased plan in Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, in which rabies prevention and surveillance is being strengthened. To eliminate rabies by 2030, 70% of dogs need to be vaccinated. Empowering local bodies and volunteers. Resident welfare associations, local authorities and NGOs take care of dogs. Those who cannot help directly should provide financial support. Conclusion: management of stray dogs is a complex problem, for which it is necessary for the local government, community, and animal welfare workers to come together. This problem can be solved by adopting a One Health approach, which looks at the health of humans, animals, and the environment together. Case study and investigation of ethical competence. You are the municipal commissioner of a large Indian city. There has been a recent increase in dog bites and deaths from suspected rabies. Animal welfare organizations are protesting against the removal or killing of the dogs. Meanwhile, residents are demanding immediate action. The media has further increased the fear, and you are under pressure to take a quick decision. So now you can tell us the answers to these questions in the comment box. 10 schemes in news. Prime Minister Special India Employment Scheme. This scheme focuses on creating jobs, skill development and opportunities for the youth. In particular, it will boost jobs, improve the employability of young people and strengthen social security across all sectors. The manufacturing sector will benefit the most, where new factories and plants will be set up. Now let's get to its main features. This scheme will run under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. The work of implementing this will be done by the Employees Provident Fund Organization, i.e. EPFO. EPFO is a government body which works under the Employees Provident Fund Act of 1952. Its target is to create 3.5 crore new jobs in 2 years, which will also include youth getting jobs for the first time. This plan is divided into 2 main parts. Part 1. Support for first-time job seekers. This includes 1 month's salary, up to a maximum of 15,000 rupees, for new employees registering with the EPFO. Will be available in 2 installments. The first installment is after 6 months of employment, and the second after 12 months. But for this, the employee will have to complete a short course on financial literacy. This course will teach them about saving and spending money. Which employees are eligible? Whose monthly salary is up to 1 lakh rupees. There is a special feature in this. A part of the incentive will be kept in their deposit account as a fixed deposit, so that they develop the habit of saving. How will I get the money? By direct benefit transfer through Aadhaar Bridge Payment System, i.e. directly into the bank account without any delay. What benefit does this give to the employees? First, jobs will become formal, which means EPFO coverage will provide pension and security. Second, on-the-job training will make them more efficient. Third, their ability to get a job will increase and they will learn the right use of money through financial literacy. Now the second part, incentives for employers. For employers hiring new employees with salaries up to 1 lakh rupees, every additional employee will get 3,000 rupees per month for 2 years. But this is only if the employee stays for at least 6 months. This incentive for the manufacturing sector will continue for the 3rd and 4th year also. How will I get the money? Directly into their PAN-linked account. What benefits do employers get from this? The cost of creating new jobs will be covered, the workforce will remain stable, productivity will increase, and social security coverage will be boosted. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is to provide clean and safe cooking gas to poor families, especially women. The Union Cabinet has approved a subsidy of 12,000 crore rupees for the scheme for 2025-26. What is the objective of this scheme? This scheme provides LPG gas connections to families living below the poverty line. Its aim is to increase access to clean energy, reduce diseases caused by indoor air pollution, and empower women. Cooking with wood or coal produces smoke, which is harmful for health. Cooking with LPG gas is safe, fast and clean. What are its main features? Ministry. The scheme is run under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Type. It is a central scheme, which was started in 2016. Target. To provide free LPG connections to 8 crore poor families. 10.33 crore connections have been given so far. Ujjwala 2.0, launched in 2021, providing 1.6 crore additional connections, especially for migrant families. New target. The target is to provide 75 lakh more connections from 2023-24 to 2025-26. The overall target is 10.35 crore connections. How is it implemented? It is implemented jointly by the Ministry of Petroleum, oil marketing companies and state governments. Who can avail the benefit? Any woman above 18 years of age, who belongs to a BPL family and whose house does not already have an LPG connection. Documents required: KYC form, Aadhaar card, ration card, address proof and bank account. Special facility for migrants. Don't have ration card or proof of address? No problem, just self-declaration is enough. What are the benefits? Cash assistance, 1,600 rupees for a 14.2 kilogram cylinder or 1,150 rupees for a 5 kilogram cylinder. This includes the cost of cylinder, pressure regulator, gas pipe, consumer card and installation. Freebies: first gas refill and stove are free. Subsidy: up to 12 refills per year, 300 rupees subsidy per 14.2 kilogram cylinder. LPG Panchayat. There is a panchayat in the villages where safe use of gas and its benefits are explained. Who can't take it? Those whose house already has an LPG connection from any oil company. If there is no adult female in the house, then the connection will not be available. What are the achievements? As of March 1, 2025, 10.33 crore connections have been given. It has been praised by the International Energy Agency and the World Health Organization because it has improved the environment and women's health. 11. Places in news. India. This map shows recent events and achievements in different parts of India. Ladakh. A Ladakh expedition team successfully climbed Mirak 11 and Kangju Mountains. ISRO launched the HOPE analog mission in the Tsokar Valley, a major step forward for space research. Uttarakhand. A cloudburst in the Alaknanda River, a tributary of the Ganges River, caused flooding in Uttarkashi district. Jammu and Kashmir. Dal Lake hosted water games for the first time, marking a new beginning for tourism and sports. Uttar Pradesh. The 100th year of the Kakori Train of Action is being celebrated, which was an important event in the freedom struggle. Gujarat. India's first green hydrogen power plant was commissioned at Kandla Port, a major step for the environment. Kerala. Kerala has become the first 100% digitally literate state in India, a remarkable achievement in technological advancement. World. Canada. Canada faced its second worst wildfire this year. This caused a lot of damage there. Spain. Spain has seen a lot of fires this summer. More than 35,000 hectares of forest burned in the first 2 weeks of August. The reason for this was hot winds and intense heat. Alaska. The presidents of the US and Russia met in Alaska and discussed the Ukraine war. They discussed a ceasefire. Algeria. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck Algeria. This earthquake occurred at a place called Tebessa. France. There were also huge forest fires in the south of France. These fires spread further due to hot air, drought and strong winds. Easter Island. There is a danger that due to rising sea levels, many areas may be submerged by 2100. This may cause damage to the historical and cultural heritage there. Lebanon. Children. There is a severe water shortage in Lebanon. UNICEF reported that the water situation there is very serious. Additionally, the UN forces reported that there was also firing from the Israeli side on the Blue Line. Vietnam. India and Vietnam held the 6th high-level meeting together. In this meeting, there was discussion on further strengthening maritime cooperation. Philippines. The President of the Philippines visited India. This visit took place to celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Fiji Islands. India and Fiji have jointly taken new steps to further strengthen defense and maritime security. Tonga. A very powerful 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck Tonga. This has caused a lot of damage there. Tuvalu. Tuvalu is a small island nation on the verge of sinking due to rising sea levels. So Tuvalu has entered into an agreement with Australia. Up to 280 Tuvalu citizens can now settle in Australia each year. Australia. The Chief of the Australian Army visited India. This will further strengthen the defense relations between the two countries. New Zealand. India and New Zealand held joint defense strategy discussions in New Delhi. Its aim is to increase cooperation between the two countries. If you liked this video, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel NoName IAS.